Greetings, family. Welcome to Pan-Africanism Towards Nationhood, building a global Black business pipeline. And greetings, family. This is Bomani Tyehimba of Africa for the Africans Tours and Investment, and we're with our good brother, Kala Genesis Radio, Black African Infrastructure Organization. And family, we're the kings of Pan-Africanism and nationhood, and we have another wonderful show for you tonight, and we're going to just keep giving it to you strong as far as just the roots, the culture, the Pan-African vision and energy. So yes, brother Kala Genesis, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. Saturday night, man. You know what I'm all about.
Yes, excellent. So, family, this is tonight's topic: the Pan-Africanist Shuffle, P.A.I.N.O, Pan-Africanist in name only. All right. So, Kala Genesis is gonna break that down for you, and he's gonna get into it. And for those who want to ask questions or post questions, go ahead and post it. Post it with a super chat. Post it with some love and some energy. And if you want to join us, join us. But if you're against the things that we have right up there, which is Pan Africanism towards nationhood on that banner, don't waste your time and join. We're just gonna remove you or block you. We are done with those games. We're looking to connect with people where we can have, you know, intelligent dialogue and people who we can work with. We have movements and energy going on in Africa, and we're looking to connect with people who want to work with us, build with us, so we can build that future that we talk about, and not just be a Pan Africanist in name only. So, but before you get started, Kyle, let me show you our flyer of our Africa tour journey as we get ready to take you to the motherland, take you to where you can just reconnect to the ancestral spirit. So this is our 17th year doing these incredible Africa for the Africans Journey of a Lifetime tours, and that is what we have used to build the future of what we're doing, which is getting more into real estate development, building communities, working with other people, and defining our future. Because the goal is, you know, the end goal is for us to build our nation. So that means we have to industrialize, and we have to invest in all aspects of industries and all aspects of working with our people to build our future. So it's beautiful and it sounds great, but all that means is that you have to dedicate the rest of your life and do the work every day to make it work. Uh, so as we get ready to head back to Africa, we're heading to Ghana. That's May 24th to June 5th. Uh, and we will get there on Africa Day, May 25th, which used to be called African Liberation Day, just like the Organization of African Unity is now AU. So it seemed like the core parts of these definitions has been taken out, but it's African Liberation Day, so that's the national holiday across all African countries. That's May 25th. So that's our usual time over the last few years to get into Ghana and do our roots and culture journey, our slash repatriation and investment tour. So those who want to know more information about these things, family, the website is live with full details. The YouTube page is full of highlights from all the previous journeys, and also it has a business conference and all of our Black Star Pan African land videos. So that's our goal, is to show you more documentation. Then after our Ghana journey, we're back in Tanzania for the fourth journey. That's November 16th to the 27th. And then we're off to South Africa, December 24th to January 4th. So those are the next three journeys that we have to close out on the year. And for those who are still interested and still with us, the best thing to do is reach out to me. Let's talk so we can go through information, because that's the most important thing with these things. You want people to be clear, you want people to be prepared. And the goal is not to do a bunch of last minute things. Over the last few years, too many last minute journeys, but it was the COVID-19 era, and we worked things as we could. But the goal is always to plan things ahead of time. So that's why we have dates for next year and also the year after. So for 2024, this give you even more time. Our feature journey is Liberia, March 29th to April 9th. So that's what we have set up, family. We are looking to just build this beautiful connection in Liberia, and we're looking to build the level of investment, looking to get into many different things. So the investment part of it is just a repatriation and investment tour. So the goal is to put a nice organized flow of presenters and just deliver. So that's we're going to talk more and more about that journey as time go along, but all the full details is right there on the site, and we've just been pushing it strong. And so for those who ready for the whole nation building aspect, this is a good foundation to get started. So let's build it up and keep the energy going. Then after that, we're back in Ghana for our 24th Journey of a Lifetime to Ghana, and that is July 11th to the 23rd. And then from there on, we're on the way to Egypt, and that's November 21st to December 2nd. And then we'll start the fresh year in 2025 in April for Senegal and the Gambia. So family, that is the list of our journeys of a lifetime to Africa. And that is our contact details: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and below is the similar details. So reach out, connect, and let's keep on building that strong energy and strong presence in Africa, because it's a diplomatic move that we use to be able to build a future, and also at the same time too, we have our good brothers and sisters here that worked all their lives, and some of them, their dream and goal, and people have told me this directly, was they want to go to the motherland. And I'm sure Kala knows some people like that that just say, hey, my goal is to connect to Liberia because of the great things that African ancestors and the African diaspora here in the Americas did to build Africa's first republic. And and this is and that's what we do in family. We're taking care of our own people and connecting them to our experience, and then we also building a budget and spending a budget with Black-owned companies here and also there on the African continent. So it's all good progressive energy, and we just want to encourage people to just experience Africa and experience it with the best that has ever done it, and we're going to take it to that next level. So yes, my good brother Kala, are you ready for you ready for them tonight?
Oh yeah, always.
This is the topic again, family.
Yeah, the Pan-Africanist shuffle, the P.A.I.N.Os, the Pan-Africanist in name only. And I want to start by saying I'm not calling anybody specifically a P.A.I.N.O. No, really, I'm not. All I'm going to say is what I observed and everything, and the shoe fits wear it. Okay. And the other night show, I think it was last night, I talked about sacred cows, right? Now, sacred cows, Black people, we things you do to your own detriment, you hold you back and everything like that. There are also sacred cows in the Pan-African world. Okay, Pan has its own sacred cows. Okay. One of the sacred cows that we have is, right, if somebody says something 30, 40, or 50 years ago, it must be gospel truth. If somebody calls himself a Pan-Africanist and everything, the people don't look at their whole entire record. And also, people don't realize that things and ideologies change and evolve and have to adapt for the modern times. Okay? I can't go by what people said like 60 years ago. I got to look at the thing on the ground. And what's happening is this. What I found out is as African countries are starting to develop, right? They develop outside the realm of Pan-Africanism, right? Pan-Africanism was the only ideology that post-war Africa embraced. Oh, unity of African people. But as African countries start developing, right, they realized that they didn't really have to worry about the Pan-African world because they have this thing called sovereignty and diplomacy, which they can make their own deals directly with Europe and all these other countries without considering. And that's what the problem you have with the cocoa industry in between the Ivory Coast and Ghana, where the Europeans are pitting each other against each other. A lot of stuff is going on where we don't realize that the Europeans, the ones who purchase the stuff and capitalize stuff, is playing African countries against each other. So we go to these conferences and call ourselves Pan-Africans, right? But there's no real Pan-African economic thing going on. It's Pan-African in name only. Just showing up to a conference, right? And Africa is waving flags and everything is not Pan-Africanism. When you basically, when Black African infrastructure, right, exists, and that preempts everything that goes on between Africa and the world, then you have a semblance of real Pan-Africanism. You don't have real Pan-Africanism when African countries, right now, you can't travel to Somalia, somebody from Somalia, there's 34 countries on the continent, they can't travel without a visa. And also, it's easier to get around Africa with a European passport and a American visa than it is having a African passport, even an ECOWAS. You know, there's no African. So in other words, it's easier for a Westerner to travel to any country in Africa than it does for African to travel to the thing. Now, recently, Zimbabwe and Botswana. Excuse me. Zimbabwe and Namibia, Botswana and Namibia scrapped all their visa requirements. Same thing with Zimbabwe. In other words, you can travel through all these countries without any visa whatsoever. It's stupid. Why like that? So people from Zimbabwe go to Botswana to work and Namibia to work and stuff like that. No visa, no nothing. That's real, what we call Pan-African. What's the reason? Why? Because they figure we're all black. That's the whole thing. Pan-African is based on race. We're all black. We're all indigenous to this region right here. So why we want to make it an impediment for one person to do business in this country, one person to have this in this country, one person to have this in this country, and then call yourself a Pan-African. Recently, there was a Nigerian woman just ran out of a market in Makoto because she was Nigerian. And this one lady was saying, a Ghanaian lady said, "This is stupid. We're all black people and everything. Why are you running this Nigerian woman out there because she's bringing a product in there and everything just because she's Nigerian?" That's why I said, we talk about Pan-African. We have these Pan-African festivals and everything, but it's all Pan-African in name only. It doesn't translate to the betterment of the people and any tangible results. And I'm going to give many examples tonight, so get ready. Also, when we talk about Pan-Africanism, right, Pan-Africanism to me is a means to an end. The end is having power. The end is having being independent. The end is being strong. If we're not getting stronger, right, then the Pan-African is useless. Malcolm X said, I want you to play that video, Bomani, right? He said clearly what he means by Black Pan-African Union, right? He said, we'll be stronger in America. So in other words, Malcolm X never believed that Black people in America, the order we be Pan-African is just, we all move to the continent. That's not really realistic, okay? What he's saying is our position in America will be stronger with a strong Africa. The same way Chinese communities are strong all over the world because they have a strong China, okay? The Japanese communities are strong all over the world because they have a strong Japan. In other words, Pan-African means that the mother continent is the base, and we're like the satellites in America. But what happens is now is you have Black people in America, right, who are trying to delineate and sever their ties with this ADOS FBA movement, which is stupid. If a united Africa had our back and went out, we'll be strong in America. That's what Pan-Africanism means. And also Pan-Africanism also means that the Black people in America have to get something. I'm going to deal with that issue later, right? Because we have the Pan-African shuffle where Black people in America talk about Pan-African, but they get nothing. There's nothing that benefits the AU and the recent U.S. Africa Summit and everything, where Black America is any better or stronger position than it was if we engage in Pan-African. That's Pan-Africanism in name only. Getting Eric Adams and all these Dr. Arcana, all these people together hooping and hollering, and then you got Benjamin Carper and Al Sharpton. That's not Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism, you will see in policy and global policy a real shift in our position in America. The white people will come to Black America if they had anything going on in Africa. Do you see that now? No, you got Black generals who are helping the United States government with Africom and the New World Order and NATO and everything undermine sovereign states in Africa. Is that Pan-Africanism? Some people say that's Pan-Africanism. See General such and such is sitting hanging with the homeboys in front of the U.S. Embassy. That's not Pan-Africanism. Just because you're Black and you go to Africa doesn't mean what you're doing is Pan-Africanism. If the Black community, both here in Africa, are not getting stronger, and Europeans are having their way and their policy reigns supreme and everything like that, no matter what it is and everything, that's not Pan-African. That's Pan-African in name only. So, Bomani, you gonna play a video?
The Organization of Afro-American Unity sees the only hope for the black man in America in a strong Africa, and the necessity of the Afro-American becoming inseparably linked with the overall program that's existing on the African continent. The two problems must be solved together, and the two forces must go forward together. And so the Organization of Afro-American Unity has a program to link the Afro-Americans with the Africans and the Africans with the Afro-Americans. When I say Afro-Americans, I mean those throughout the entire Western Hemisphere. This is our only hope. Our hope is in a strong Africa. And when Africa is strong, our position in America will be one of respect. But if Africa is weak, we will never be in a position of respect in America. They used to have a saying that one doesn't have a Chinaman's chance, but they don't say that anymore. They use that expression back when China was weak. But now, since Mao Zedong has been successful in making China a strong country, the Chinese have more chance than anybody else. So this saying has become outdated. Well, just as it took a strong China to give a Chinese person respect wherever that Chinese person is found on this earth, when we get a strong Africa, the person of African origin or African ancestry will be respected any place on this earth, even in America. But he will not be respected in America until Africa is strong, just as the Chinaman wasn't respected abroad until China became strong.
He was the leader.
Yes, brother. Malcolm is always on point.
That right there, like I said, not only was he on point, that right there says it all. You know, that was almost 60 years ago. Is Africa strong? No. Right? So do we benefit from Africa? No. Is our position in America changed? No. Because the bottom line is we have 60 years of fake Pan-Africanism and fake ass people running the show, getting their grift on and getting their stuff on and whatnot. And I'm fed up with it. You know, everybody out there getting their own nickels and dimes and everything. And nobody's talking about building the continent. Nobody's talking about making Africa strong and powerful. He said the only chance we have, and he was absolutely right. Do you think in the making years, if Africa was strong and we were linked to Africa, something like Trayvon Martin would have happened? No. Does you think friggin' Stanley Crutcher getting blown away in Oklahoma would have happened and everything like that? No. Do you think anything like this, stuff like that you see in America where they could do whatever they want to do to us and everything, or they choked that young brother out on the friggin' subway the other day and whatnot, you know? You think that would happen? No. Because as long as Africa's weak, and then what they do is they got a clever way. These white wicked devils have a clever way, right? They basically know that's the key, right? And they import Africans from America, right, from the desperate situations, and tell them that, oh, you're different from them over there. Brainwash them, and they put them in positions of thing to go on social media and antagonize Black America and everything. And the bottom line is this, and the Africans basically have abandoned the continent. They'll live in the UK, America for generations, everything. They don't give a damn about making Nigeria strong. They don't give a damn about making Liberia strong. They don't give a damn about making Ghana strong and everything like that. And then they people have the nerve to come in my face and talk to me about Pan-Africanism. While they're sitting in America, sipping their Mai Tais and whatnot with their big screen TVs and everything, and their country is freaking weak. Their country is being robbed and exploited and bullied and humiliated on a global stage and everything. The bottom line is this: what I'm sick and tired of is this. Everybody think just because you got a government or whatever like that, I got to respect that. I don't respect that. All these governments in Africa were created by Europeans to facilitate and protect their own shit. You know, what Europeans got vested in Africa, that's all it is. All you are in Africa is middle managers of European friggin' exploitation. And when you see Africans talk about Africa's being looted by that fake Dr. Arikana, oh, Africa's being looted by the West. But every last single African you see that's rich, he's gotten rich by helping to facilitate the looting of Africa. Same way that the people got rich, helped Europeans loot the continent of human resources for hundreds of years. The same pattern of exploitation exists right now on the continent, right? There's no Black African infrastructure. There's no trade between African countries on a large scale. There's no coordinated logistical industrial base on the continent. Why was that important, right? Because Black people in America Imagine if we had a market that we manufacture goods and everything in America with our tremendous talent and everything, that we had a ready-made market like the Chinese do when they have an invention or they have a software product. They easily could go to China and say, hey, look, do this. That's how the Chinese get so rich. Chinese are only powerful because they tapped into the Chinese American and the Chinese diaspora to come back home and link with the people and help build China up right there. Mao wasn't smart. Mao was a moron. Right? But he was smart enough to play on Chinese nationalism, right? Pan-Chinese, Pan-Sino, Pan-Chinese nationalism to make China a global influence, a global power. There's never been that sort of the African continent not only doesn't care about African Americans, they don't even care about their own people living overseas. You have people living overseas for decades and everything like that. No way of bringing them home. Allow the best minds to leave the continent and whatnot. Like I said, it's Pan-African in name only. It's time to freaking call it out. And that's why we're not getting any place right there. And I'm not going to waste my time in a movement, right? If people are not serious about that. I know what needs to be done. I know what needs to be done. I know how other people got powerful and strong. And that's the end game, getting strong and powerful. I'm in this movement because I want to see, before I die, black people have some sort of power on this earth. The black man has no say over anything. We have no ships. We have no navy. We have no missiles. We have absolutely nothing. The white man and the white racists, white supremacists make sure the black man is on the heel of the other races of the world. That's not what Malcolm X envisioned. That's not what Marcus Garvey envisioned. That's not what College Genesis envisioned. And it only takes black people around the world to realize that we're all united under one thing called the idea of a Pan-African state, the Afrikstan, the idea of a super state which all black people in the world belong to, no matter where you are in the world. That's what we're talking about tonight. Pan-Africans in name only. If your end game is not power, if your end game is not overcoming, right? I give people time. I watched some of these people for decades, right? And I don't see any freaking movement towards power or progress in any of these movements that came before me. None. I see people in the same position they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Still talk about reparations, still talk about the white man, still talk about white supremacy, doing the same thing. Nobody's making any friggin' progress. There's no power. In fact, because of social media, we're more divided than we were like 50 years ago. 50 years ago, you at least had people from Nigeria, Ghana, and Black America, Caribbean getting together discussing stuff. Now everybody's on their little camps and whatnot, fighting with each other over nickels and dimes and crumbs. And like I said, it's time to end the Pan-Africans in name only. The Pan-African world means about power. If you don't want power in this world, then step off the Pan-African stage. If you think that begging the white man or try to demand some reparations for slavery and everything is the way to power or not, then please don't come to me. Please don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. You're not willing to do what it takes to build power. And the only way you're going to build power is by taking power. Power is never given. Power is taken. Now, what's ours? The Bible says, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, right? So in other words, when you give Caesar what's his, right, then rest is yours. What's ours? Can we say the continent belongs to us? No. Anytime Europeans could come to the continent and call themselves Africans and exploit the women, exploit the resources, and live like kings. You got Chinese, Lebanese, everybody live like kings on the continent. While you're stuck in the UK, you're stuck in America, you're stuck or any place else but your own continent, and some other man is there sleeping with your own women and enjoying your country, taking the wealth out of their country. You living overseas like a freaking fool. It's time to wake the fuck up. Excuse my language. Wake up. So, like I said, then you got nerve to get on platforms and talk about what do we need to do with Pan-Africans. First thing you need to do is go back to your own country. Second thing, you organize and get rid of these corrupt governments and everything. That's the second thing you do. And then third thing you do, you need to really seriously think about linking with the black people in the diaspora who basically live in majority white countries. Black people in America are the only group of black people, for the most part, that don't live in a majority black country. If you can't see that's opportunity right there on the African continent to make a way for them to come back home and build and everything like that, it shows you it's all Pan-African in name only. Why would you have the richest black people in America isolated in America when not, instead of having a pathway so they could come back home and build from a position of power and strength? But no, you want to bring them home and whatnot. And then we say something like, oh, well, why do black people, when they go through a lot of stuff on the continent, there's nobody reaching out and saying, you know something, Black America, you took a lot to come to this continent and build. If there's any problems and whatnot, we're going to make you priority. But you know who they make priority that visit the country? The Chinese, the Indians, the Lebanese. They buck dance and shuffle for these other people, non-black people, when they come to Africa. And when black people in America say, hey, look, well, we didn't understand this. You know, we need this and whatnot. Nothing is done. Show me one legislation anywhere on the continent or any policy officially saying giving protection to the people who were stolen from Africa hundreds of years ago. There are none. That's why I said it's Pan-African in name only. Now, if you want fake Pan-Africanism, turn me the fuck off. But if you want real black power and Pan-African, you listen to College Genesis. Because I'm done with playing with people who just who think this is fun and games. I want to see my race delivered and have power. Without having power, without having the basic power that everybody else have in this world, then we can get to the next level. But you're going to tell me a whole race of people have nothing to say about anything that goes on in the world? They ask a black man, what do you think about climate change? Nobody gives a fuck what black people think. What do you think about this? Nobody gives a damn. We've been written off. Do you tell me as a human being, people, some pencil neck, beatneck in Europe or whatever makes the decision over my Bill Gates making all the decisions? Who the hell gave him the power over my life? They're telling us now that the thing Africa needs to do is reduce its population. Who the hell tell us where our population should be? Who do you tell Museveni where he could drill his stuff like this? He could drill a pipeline and drill for his stuff. So we're supposed to go today. Who are you to tell somebody how to with this stupid LGBT laws and everything like that you're gonna try to impose? Now the U.S. wants to impose LGBT sanctions on Uganda, and nobody's saying a damn thing about it. Everybody's silent about it. If you call yourself if Uganda is a sovereign country and we say it's a sovereign country, why aren't we angry about that? Because we don't believe it. We just sit back, oh, the white man, you know, so long as I go to Africa and get my little plot of land somewhere, and I might get me a wife somewhere on the continent, I don't care. No, it's more than that. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all those things will be added onto it. That means God called us to be warriors, to stand for something. And all those things that you want and everything will be added. You have all that. You have the women. You have the wealth. But you got to stand on principles first. And a lot of people don't have any principles. So there's going to be sanctions on Uganda because they say we don't want this stuff. Not only it's not anybody persecuting gay people. I don't agree with that. Well, it does mean that you're not going to be on television. You're not going to have your gay pride shit, you know? You're not going to be telling their kids. That's what they want to do. They want to go into the Ugandan villages and whatnot and preach the LGBTQ lifestyle to their children. If they aren't allowed to do that, they're called being discriminatory. So much for African culture. I thought African culture had this culture that's got to be preserved. So if you really believe that, you're like, how dare you try to come over there and impose that? That right there should have had Black America and the diaspora and everything. Well, then again, the most Africans in America, all they care about is their little visa, and they think Joe Biden is going to keep them here past the visa, so they can give a damn about what Joe Biden does on the continent. Or you care more about staying in America and not getting deported, right, than freaking doing what's right. So you're going to sit back and be quiet. You know, you want to sit back and be quiet because Master Joe Biden, you know, is not going to deport you because, no, you know something too? They said deportation to Africa were highest under Obama and Biden. Biden don't give a damn about African immigrants. So why so many African immigrants love Joe Biden so much? He's telling you that if you don't do this stuff like that. You don't care about your own culture back in Africa. You know, they're putting that poisonous LGBTQ stuff in there. You just sit back silent because you don't want to ruin your place in America, the little comfort America gives you and everything. And these are the same type of Pan-Africans always in my freaking face talking about how great their country is and stuff like this. It's Pan-African in name only. You love America, right? You're tethered to the European, you know, you're tethered to the white man. You see the white man's worldview and that. You make a mockery of Black America's Pan-Africanism and everything, but yet you have the nerve to call yourself a Pan-Africanist or that you are Black nationalist and everything. It's time to change. It's time to freaking realize what's going on in the world. And the bottom line is the Black men of the world, we have not stepped up. We're like freaking children. We used to have strong Black men like Malcolm X around. We used to have strong, powerful men. But now when you see the Black man nowadays, he wants to put on, they got LeBron out there putting on a skirt and whatnot, you know, and all these guys wearing high heels and all this freaking nonsense. We don't have strong Black men in this world anymore. You know, I'm one of the last few strong Black men who believe you ain't gonna emasculate me. You know, I'm a man. I'm proud to be a man. I'm glad God made me a man, and I tell it like it is. You know, I don't give a damn who doesn't like it. You know, if you don't like it, you can come see me. Pan-African in name only. Okay, we're gonna deal with this topic tonight, right? And I'm not calling anybody out, any person, everything. I'm just sick and tired of people using the umbrella of Pan-Africanism, right, to basically push a bunch of nonsense. Now, one of the persons that I have a issue with, not hatred or anything like that, but I have an issue with, is Dr. Africana. Okay, and people have been asking me for weeks, right? You know, Colin, what do you have against Dr. Africana? Well, one thing is this. Anytime I hear people, particularly my elders, whatnot, talking the same old stuff, oh, the West did this, where they know what you do is you take the lowest common denominator, right? If you ask Black people in America, right, who's the biggest threat to Africa, right? They'll say the West, America. They'll say, what about China? China's developing Africa and everything like that. So in other words, basically, you're saying that, say, well, how's the West hurting Africa, right? Let's be honest with ourselves, right? And this is no defense of the West whatsoever. I'm going to deal with them. A lot of times the West will had a lot of stipulations. I'm just being honest with you. I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of times the West has a lot of stipulations on countries. Some of them too harsh, like what they try to do with Rwanda with the election. They meddle, okay? But sometimes the West do look at certain things in certain African countries and the way they do business and everything. And they say, look, you want our money, you want our aid, like what's going on in Liberia right now with Ambassador McCarthy, who I support. He basically is holding the Liberian government accountable, right? Because when you really look at Africa, right, the only thing a lot of times helping, looking out for the people are not the governments, right, who are supposed to be looking out for the people, right? It's the friggin' NGOs and everybody else, watchdog groups and everything. As many governments in Africa really don't care about the average person. They try and everything, but they got to eat first. If you got President Nana Addo going on all these expensive flights and everything like that, you know, roads and hospital care and everything like that, which is really crumbling in Ghana, that has to go second. That's not prioritized. If you got African countries last year, I watched go to all these international conferences. Who pays for that? They went there and wasted time going to the friggin' Queen of England's funeral. They could have did that by teleconference. Magufuli, the late president of Tanzania, who they killed, I believe, right? He said, look, I don't go to these international events. I'm staying in Tanzania, saving money and building my country. But every African leader makes sure that anytime the Europeans have an event, they're there. You know, while the people on these expensive trips that cost $1 million a piece, you know, transport and logistics and everything, right? Money that could go in. While you go to the rural areas, people don't have basic health care, basic housing and basic sanitation, basic human rights and everything. No one says anything. No one says anything. That's the thing about Pan-African, sacred cow Pan-African. We're not allowed to criticize African leaders. All the African leaders have to do is say, oh, the West is doing this to me and whatnot. And we don't look and we don't feel responsible. You know why? Because we're not real adults. Somebody who's an adult takes responsibility for his actions and say, look, this is what you should have done. Even if it caused a rift between us and everything, we have to have that fight. You know, we have to have that fight. Why is it that you're spending all this money on transport, travel, and hosting the Europeans, everything like that right there, and the people basically and children have to pay for school fees? If they don't pay for school fees, they're out in the street selling and everything. That's unacceptable in 2023. But I don't see and I see people going to the African continent, right, every day, right? And the most precious thing, like President Tolbert said, is the youth, the children. When you see all the children in school and they're learning and their minds open up and everything, that brings me joy and happiness. So you know we have a future. But when you see kids out there that should be in school and everything, and you're walking right past them because you want to enjoy your little bougie African life and whatnot, you know, you're walking past deprivation and stuff like that, and you don't say anything about it, right? That means you are compliant with it. You see things going on the continent and everything that you should be calling out and everything because you know better. That's why I said fake Pan-African and Pan-African in name only. When you go to the continent and whatnot, that child is your child. That child is my child. And so therefore our position should be as somebody coming from, I'm not saying we're superior and everything, but we come from a different society where we don't see that. What's going on with the children? Why don't they have schools? And we have a lot of people that go to the continent. The first thing they do is try to build schools, try to build this, try to build that. But do you think the people that all over the continent, you got African Americans, diasporans helping school, education, everything like that, particularly the black women, you know, getting in school, involved with girls' care, everything like that, right? Is that what we show as an example of what Pan-African? No, we don't talk about that. We don't support that. We don't send money to that. We don't care about that because we don't really care about the children. If you don't care about the children, you don't care about the future. You don't care about the future, you don't care about Africa. That's how it's supposed to work. When you care about the children, you care about things. You put yourself second. Me, I live my life already. You know, I live my life. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this because I want to see black children all over the world have what I did not have. When I was a kid, I used to hear all my white friends and whatnot talk about, oh, yeah, I'm going to Poland for the summer. Or I'm going to Israel for the summer. I'm going to Mallorca, Spain. Oh, we're going to Sicily. We're going to this. We're going to our roots and our heritage and whatnot. I did not have that. I did not know what my roots were. I did not know I had a place outside of America. You know, I want people to know, our kids to know they can get on a plane and they got shit set up on the continent. They can go to school on the continent. They can vacation. They bring their girlfriends. They can spend their honeymoon and stuff like that. They can invest everything. It's another alternative to America. And when we have that, right, then we could be in a position of strength in America that we're not on our knees. When America knows that we have other options besides America, they'll start treating us with respect. And that's what this is all about. You know, we want to build Africa so we can be in a position in America to say, hey, you know, come to us that we're not on our knees. Like just a couple of months, you're going to see the most Massa Bidenist Negroes in the friggin' world. Oh, Massa Biden, yo, just give us our reparations. Oh, Massa Biden, save us from the orange man Trump. All this coonery and minstrel shit I'm tired of. But those of us in the Pan-African world, I don't give a damn who gets elected in America. I know building Africa, that's what I hope for. That's my faith. And building a mother continent and whatnot, you know. If this shit don't work out in America, and one day I'll be like, hey, I'm out. I know I can't leave now, but one day it's there. That's what we're building ourselves psychologically to. Building Africa, building the future and everything like that. That's what we're doing. That's what we gotta keep doing. No matter how slow it is, no matter how if people come dragging everything, I don't care. But this is the direction. You got too many black people, right? Who basically it's like, okay, America is all I know and everything. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna act like America is all you know. How you do that? You let white people shit on you. You let white people tell you who to vote for. You let white people mock you. You let white people kill you. It's like we're so sick, it don't even bother us anymore. Man gets choked out in the subway and black people not even upset. All that hooping and hollering. I said, why are black people upset? Oh, I got it. the orange man's not in the White House. Now, if the orange man was in the White House, y'all Negroes be out there, yeah, Donald Trump caused this. This is Trump America. MAGA did this. MAGA did this. All this freaking hypocrisy. And I know black people. I know we're full of shit. We're full of shit when it comes to America, and we're full of shit when it comes to Africa. And all I do is call out people and their bullshit. All right, Bomani, I just get a good opening. What's going on?
Yes, brother. Yes, brother. Live and uncut. So, family, that was Color Genesis introduction. So, would you like to use some look at some comments, or would you?
Yeah,
like
I would love to look at some comments. I would love to look at some comments.
Yes, this is the only comment you got right there.
Why is it difficult for dude? You brother, Rudy, but no offense, man. You ask the same question every freaking night. What I just got to saying? African countries are a freaking joke, you know. When you miss the African countries in America, is black people a misleadership. African countries are not set up for anything other than European exploitation and now Asian exploitation. Can you get that through your thick head, you know? Lord have mercy, you know. I keep telling the same guy, African Americans. I try to tell you, African countries are not set up. It's Pan-African in name only. It's only something they talk about. African countries do not exist for itself. It doesn't exist for its children, its future. Only the African countries exist for is elite, corrupt leadership and the friggin' their European or Chinese or Asian or Lebanese benefactors and Indian, whoever. That's the truth.
Yeah, so it's real life. So we're trying to. Our goal is to get you out of fantasy world.
Yeah, the fantasy world about Pan-Africanism. You know,
we've seen too many people become victimized because they think they go into a fantasy Africa. You know where it's real, family. So let's step your game up because that's the situation you're gonna deal with.
You know, so the idea, like there's a Pan-Africans on both sides, kind of waving their fists, Black Power, when let's get together. No, that's not
that kind of game.
That's not reality.
People trying to make a living, people trying to survive.
And the bottom line is this, man. The bottom line, an envelope full of cash speaks more than what I'm going to say. You know, somebody comes with, I heard what Colin got to say, right? They come with that full of cash. I'm out the door. You know, that can be anywhere. You know, but luckily I've been flying under the radar. You know, under the radar. But the bottom line, that's the reality. That is the freaking reality. Malcolm X said, we'll be stronger in Africa. I guess what the problem with that was this, right? That's when Malcolm X was talking, most of the leaders were like people like Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, you know what I'm saying? Amilcar Cabral, you know, and people like that, you know, and Patrice Lumumba and black nationalists that were on the continent that were Western black influence, right? But what they did was over time, right, they replaced them with what they call indigenous African leadership. And the West basically went and sought out indigenous cultured people to take the realms of leadership, prop them up like the freaking president of the Central African Republic. That was the most vicious person that ever lived. You know what I'm saying? He created, you see that gold throne he made, you know, took his whole country's budget to make a golden throne, you know? And so therefore, this is what they did all over the continent. They propped up dictators and people who have no Pan-African spirit whatsoever, you know, in leadership position. And then all of a sudden, let's be honest with ourselves, right? There was a war between westernized black. Western means people who are Pan-Africanists. Black people are militants, right? Black militants, black nationalists. That's Western ideology, right? And people think Western. People have this idea that if you're westernized, man, you're more like if you're westernized, you're more like to think like Khalid Muhammad. You're more like to think like Malcolm X, you know? So people talk about, we need to the Europeans made sure that they basically put the so-called people who have no connection to the slave trade or the horrors of slave trade in power all over the continent. And that's what they did. You know, they replaced all the black nationalists, even like people like Kwame Touré, right? He had no voice after a while, you know, he was done, you know, because indigenous African cultures, people rose up, got educated and everything, and they were basically tethered to Europeans, you know, particularly in French Africa, you know. And so, like I said, it's Pan-African name. I mean, every once in a while you have a Pan-African meeting, a Pan-African festival and everything, but it's Pan-African name only. You know, you can't have the Pan-Africans and you're still part of the French Union. You can't call yourself a Pan-African and you're part of the British Commonwealth, right? You can't call yourself a Pan-African and you're hosting the Commonwealth Games and stuff like this. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. If you're going to be tethered to Europe and tied to Europe, you cannot call yourself a Pan-Africanist. I'm sorry. When you have the sovereignty, well, what about you guys in America? We're in America. We're a minority group in America. But when your country chooses, right, to basically, like now you got Nana Addo talking about not building closer relationship with other Africa. He's talking about he wants to move closer with France and Spain and stuff like this. What is it about Europe that these people think that's going to deliver them? This guy actually said that. And I got nothing against Nana. You know, but these guys basically don't understand something. I get evidently, maybe there's something I'm not seeing. You know, why is no value? Don't Nigeria have millionaires and billionaires in Nigeria? You know, how come he has not brought the Nigerian investment class or whatever like that and put them together with Ghanaians and everything like that to raise capital and stuff like this? How come there's those consortiums don't exist? Why? Because he goes, please don't disrespect my intelligence, my quest for learning. Hey, why don't you come on? Right? Because my question with you, and I like you, brother.
I mean, why is he calling my name? I mean, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything about him. I just popped up the question.
Why don't you come on? It seems like you ask the same question all the time. You're trying to get at black people in America. You're trying to put all this responsibility of Pan-African on black America, you know? And it's not all on black America. There's a lot of problems on the continent that the only group of people that's really interested in Pan is the black people in America because we have no territory or no land we control. Now, just like the one guy said the other day on the African Union met, he said the problem is no African country wants to cede any sovereignty. That's the problem right there. No African country wants to cede any sovereignty to the African Union. None. No peacekeeping. No, nothing. Just show me where the African Union has peacekeeping bases anywhere in the continent that can do anything. There is none. So if they don't want to cede any sovereignty to themselves with each other on the continent, what do you think they think about us? They don't want anything from us. They don't want anything, give anything to us. But they want us to go out there and sing their praises like fools, you know, with this so-called sixth region of Africa and whatnot, you know. It's a way of gathering a mob against but we're supposed to be their puppets here in America to do their bidding. When America gets out of line, we're supposed to be out in the streets talking about the African Union and everything. You're a freaking fool. I tell people that all the time. You're a freaking fool if you go out there. That's fake Pan-Africanism, you know? That's Pan-African name only because we're not getting any benefit on it. We're not getting everything in Pan-Africa, like Malcolm said, we should be getting stronger. Are we getting stronger in anything? Do we have any access to African markets or anything? No. So tell me, wait, do we have any logistics on the continent? Do we have any military? Do we have any shipping? Do we have anything tangible on the continent that we could say collectively in the West? No, we don't. After 500 years, there has never been a way of making us, bringing us home through a position of power, strength, and dignity. You know, everything we do in Africa, we're completely on our own. And we spend our own money and time and everything like Brother Bomani does. You know, and then when you do that, they don't even appreciate that. You know, it's time for us to get rid of the P.A.I.N.Os, the Pan-Africanists in name only. The people that want to come here talk Pan, what they really want is how much they can get out of us, how much they can rob us, how much they can exploit us, how much they can use us and everything. Those are Pan-Africanists in name only, you know. They freaking bull down our brothers' community in the Cape, you know, right? The Central Cape. And then now they were trying to tell us, oh, you got to understand, Kala. You got to take the moral high ground, Kala, you know. Remember, you guys aren't Pan-African. So in other words, when you guys take a piss on us and everything and fuck us over with that, and we say anything about it, we're not Pan-Africanists, you know, anymore. That's Pan-Africanism in name only, you know. These people don't care about no damn Pan. It's all about what they can rob and get from us and everything. It's always one-sided. And that's Pan-Africanism in name only. You know, that's what we're talking about tonight, folks. The Pan-Africanists in name only. Now, about Dr. Arikana. Now, a few years ago, Mr. Rosenthal, my partner, right? He met Dr. Arikana in Zimbabwe. And he told her about a group called the Social Network, so it's all what the BAIO is really a social network, right? We're just a bunch of ideas. We don't have any bank account. We're just a social network. where we strongly have strong ideas. And to me, that's actually stronger than a lot of people who've been raising money and this, that, and thing. I would take the BAIO because we have core principles that we're all glued to over people who just change their ideas, and every 2 minutes they're here, there. They don't know what the BAIO is. A solid foundation, land, infrastructure, nationhood. The end goal is an Afrikstan and a global Black African infrastructure pipeline. Of like that. That's what the BAIO people of the BAIO believe. And when your belief and your faith is that strong and everything, you'll eventually prevail. No matter how long it takes. Anyway, he introduced her the idea of African American Afrikstan city state, right? And she said that's a good idea, And then right around that was like 2018, Black Panther just came out. She said, she started calling it Wakanda City, and then she said first it was going to be on one side of Zambia, one side of Zimbabwe, on the Victoria Falls, somewhere around there, whatever. And I told Mr. Rosenthal, I said, well, she needs to stop calling it Wakanda City. We call it Afrikstan. And then some things I didn't agree with. She was talking about how. We were saying that it was going to be governed by us in America, right? We're gonna no, you guys can't. Then that raised a red flag for me. He'll say, why is she basically talking about building a city, helping it with the Chinese? That the Black people of America will live there, but have no voting, no say so, no nothing, no ownership. I said, no, something, forget about it. But if she kept up with the idea, it gained a lot of steam because she was a public figure. And all these people started talking about, yeah, Dr. Carter wants to build a Wakanda city and everything like that. And I said, look, I'm not in. And some of my people in the BAIO went along with that. Oh, yeah, Kyle, we should. No. Look, the Afrikstan is going to be governed by those of us from the diaspora. That's not negotiable. The city, states, and territories are going to be governed locally by us. Same thing, Jagazi. If they in the territories and we build them in Liberia, it's going to be us that make the decision on where we live and stuff like that. That's not negotiable. So they didn't want to do that when that. So, so I'm back to square one with the Afrikstan project for Angola. Angola. That's where we want to ultimately, Angola and the Congo. That's where we actually want to build this thing. Eventually. And say, well, what's about Liberia? I'm like this. Liberia is going to be an excellent launching place. Liberia and Ghana is going to be launching places. Places like Liberia, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and all these other places like that will be excellent launching places into Angola if everything works out the way we plan to work out. And hopefully it will. So this community that we're building in Jagazi and everything, once it's up and running and everything like that, and we build one in Liberia and everything, it'll be like a cakewalk. But next thing you know, we'll have investors, developers, and everybody else coming in and that, and we start something. It's like a snowball effect. It'll like this, so it'll just work on its own. And what's the point of all this, right? The point is that fact that Black people from the diaspora will have a strong base in Africa to engage the African continent, industrial zones and stuff like that. So it'll be the marriage between Black intelligentsia and skilled labor and everything from the Americas and everything in the West on the African continent, which should have been done 100 years ago. What we're talking about now should have been done 100 years ago. The Confucius said in one of his writings, he said, the philosophy of one century should be just common sense in the next. Now, what's common sense? Common sense are things you know and do without even have to, it's just common sense. 1 + 2 = 3, and common sense, logic, basic logic. Common sense. The common man has common sense. High IQ people and people of academia like an AOC and everything, they're smart, but she don't have any common sense. The common man has common sense. That's why when you have a country like, so you have somebody like Barack Obama, he's a very smart, intelligent man. He had no common sense. What people like about Donald Trump is he's a very brilliant man and whatnot, but he has common sense. He has common sense. And that's why the populism, people like, okay, I like that. Close the borders up. Why we having people coming here with uninvented? That's common sense. So therefore, when you have people who have common sense merge with people, when you balance the intelligentsia with the people who have common sense, right? Then you can get someplace. But when you have people that have no common sense, right? And they're not that smart leading you, whatnot, you're not getting any place. So anyway, I just backed out of the whole Dr. R kind of thing, right? I would just sit back quiet for years. and everything like that. And then, I'm just like this. I have nothing against the lady. Well, I don't like I said, I just like this, but I don't like the fact that somebody who's clearly British educated, right? She's clearly a benefactor of the white man's education system, France, the UK, and stuff like this, Germany, whatever she studied and whatnot. She's an actual embodiment of European colonialism. My problem I have with her is that every time I hear her speak, right, she never talks about the transatlantic slave trade. She just said, oh, yeah, there's some slavery and everything. But she makes, colonialism. Now, if colonialism was so bad, then why was that? Why is it that all the people, the black people in Africa who benefited from colonialism, whatnot, they're the ones always talking about it? No, because the bottom line is this. They're not trying to replace colonialism. They want a better position in the colonial structure. She has no way of, she never talks about dismantling the colonial power structure. She just wants it more equitable for people like her and stuff. She knows if you change something, right? She knows she and her clique will be in a position to do that. Now, who's elevating her right now? She's almost forgotten on the African continent, right? She's with people like Al Sharpton, Ben Crump and everything. And she's doing her circuit in America, talking about Pan-Africanism and all this kind of stuff. It's Pan-African name only, right? Because I'm going to show you something of who she really is, Hey, Bomani, play that video of what I sent you.
Which one?
With Dr. Africano from
Dr. Africano. All right, go ahead. Let me get it all set up.
Okay. So what I'm saying is I'm going to talk about something really poignant, And like I said, and I don't, people say, oh, you hate. No, I don't hate. I'm just like this. I put a lot of work into this movement. I put a lot of work. I know for the fact of the matter is, out of all the people that's been out there, right, the ideology of the BAIO was something superior and something supreme. It caught on with a lot of key people around the world. The idea of building Afrikstan, the idea of building this infrastructure and stuff like that, and learning how to do financial, bringing in people with financial. I got that guy that was in that got up court with Lou Major, Michael Jackson, in the BAO. That guy is a financial genius, right? I lost a lot of people to people like Lou Major and all those other people. Pissed off about, that's the thing about social media. That's why I said I'm just distancing myself from a lot of people because I don't want anybody thinking I'm supporting anybody on social media anymore.
There you go, man, for real, brother. That's serious business. So people are gonna be upset with you, brother. They're gonna be like,
I really don't care.
Brother Khaled, why you going after this woman?
Oh well, I don't care.
Remember, when we talked about Taiwo, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Taiwo is this, Taiwo is that. I'm like, dude, come on. Maybe we should do a part 2 of that. Let's part 2 of that one day. Stir them up again.
They're gonna say you like a big boy fighting a little girl.
Well, I mean, the bottom line, Dr. Africano, all these people, they went up on the stage. If anybody wants to get in her thing and fight for her, come right ahead. If you want to be chivalrous and says, "Don't me queen," like remember the movie Bumpy Johnson, Hoodlum. Remember that? My queen. Remember that? You show balls to me queen. She's not Madam CJ. She's not Stephanie St. Clair, the Madam Queen of Harlem or that. We always got this queen thing, We gotta have a queen. She's a politician, and she's a shrewd politician. She's manipulative. She knows what she's doing. And the bottom line, if you want to play in this game, I'm not gonna. It's like damn. It's like 20 years go by. Damn, we done fucked up, man. Nothing happened. Why? Because we allow ourselves to be misled by people instead of questioning them and say, "Hey, look, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't right. I don't agree with that. Prove what you're saying." We don't do that anymore in the Pan-African world. Anybody that gets up there, we just sit back and be like, yeah, that feels good. It sounds good. Let me tell you something. When people start talking a lot of stuff or not and make you feel good, it's nothing but a drug. The white man, the West, and everything like that. They're robbing us and everything like that. It's all a bunch of freaking nonsense. Even at Julius Malema. I sent you a video of Julius Malema. We're gonna play that too. All these people are just basically, like I said, Pan-Africans in name only. So go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. You're on fire tonight, brother.
This is about the white farmers in South Africa. This is what she had to say about the white farmers getting poor Zimbabwe's $3.8 billion, right? This is what she had to say. Good. Iron Gambia is a good channel, folks. They're really good. You know, they're really good, man. You know, we do got support on the African continent, you know, real people that are real Pan-Africanist, black nationalists. We got them in Zambia, Gambia, it rhyme, you know. They got two places where there's a hotbed for black nationalist ideology, you know.
Under no circumstances was Zimbabwe going to compensate the white farmers for the land. That was made very clear, and it remains the case today. The Lancaster Agreement, when it came to the issue of the land, it clearly stated that from 1980 to 1990, the government of Zimbabwe would not discuss land redistribution. But beginning in 1990, the government will implement the land redistribution program. And when implemented, the compensation to the white farmers for the land was going to be made by Britain. Under no circumstances was Zimbabwe going to compensate the white farmers for the land. That was made very clear, and it remains the case today. Now, I may have a personal problem with that, because when they took the land 2-3 generations back, they did not compensate us. For some of us, for example, my own parents, my own grandparents, they had their land taken away and they were never compensated. However, we can say we did get the land back and we have accepted that, we moved on. I may disagree with that aspect of the Constitution, but let's be fair, it's in the Constitution. It has been in the Constitution since 1990 that the farmers would be compensated for the improvements on the land. So the government did their own evaluation of those improvements of the farms they'd redistributed. The farmers came up with their own evaluation. The variance was too wide, so they reached out to other evaluators outside the country of Zimbabwe for fairness. So different evaluators came, and for the past couple of years, the white farmers and the government have been negotiating. And finally, they came to the final figure, which was 3.5 billion. So the farmers have agreed to fundraise the money themselves. They're going to reach out to organizations, institutions, to Britain to fundraise the 3.5 billion. Those funds are going to come to the government of Zimbabwe, and the government of Zimbabwe is going to use those funds to compensate to the farmers for whatever they may have spent on the farms. Now, one might argue that why are they being compensated while the blacks, when the land was taken, they were not compensated? I tell you what, we got to move forward. We want the sanctions lifted. If this was a tiebreaker for getting the sanctions lifted, let it be. We need to move forward as a united children of Africa, as a united children of Zimbabwe, regardless of our skin color. This is about reconciliation. This is about bearing the hatchet. And it's also about abiding by the Constitution of Zimbabwe. What is being done in Zimbabwe is something that's in the Constitution, whether I like it or not, whether I disagree with it or not, it is what it is. Let's move forward and let's support Zimbabwe in Zimbabwe's quest to have a united, peaceful, and prosperous Africa.
Wait. Now you understand what I'm talking about, right?
That was a beautiful, beautiful explanation.
Yeah, but the thing is, she's saying that the white farmers owe 3.5. Somebody comes in your country, steal your land and everything, and the improvements on the land. Now, our brothers in the Cape Coast, are they going to get any compensation for the improvements of the land that they put on the infrastructure? No. See, there's a different set of rules when they deal with white people, right? Or even after slavery, right? Do you know black people never got reparations, but all the slave owners that held slaves got money compensated for the loss of slave and human capital and everything? Then the world is different for the white man, you know? He can murder, kill, everything, and basically get away with this, you know, get away with it. And so therefore, like she was saying, you know, oh, we're going to move forward to all Zimbabweans. Those whites in South Africa and white in Zimbabwe don't call them, they still raise the Rhodesian flag. They call themselves Rhodies, you know, they don't care anything. Most of them don't even have Zimbabwe citizenship. They basically have still UK citizenship. The Lancaster Agreement, they said the British were supposed to pay compensation to the white farmer. The British never did that, right? So that should have null and void the Lancaster Agreement and taking that freaking land back without compensation. He said, we want the sanctions lifted. How you have the whole entire African Union, right? And you basically say that one country that was unjustly, right, their land taken away from them, right, by whatever chicane they did and everything, you're going to basically talk about fair compensation to the white farmers after they took the land by murdering, killing, and exploitation and everything. Now, should the white basically compensated for their work and whatever? Yeah, but billions of dollars? No. They took the land in the first place, right? And also, let's talk about the farmers in Zimbabwe. It's the blacks that do all the work. White people are just landowners. It's like a feudal system. The black people manage the farms. They do all the hard work. They do all the logistics. Everything is done by black hands. But the world has this idea that black people cannot farm. Look at the farming system in Namibia and Botswana and Rwanda and everything. They have cattle, tea, everything. No white people. Mozambique is now I know Kazori don't believe that. He believes in the white man. Kazorian believes in the white man. You know, we could show you fucking. We on this show we show proof, bro. We bring receipts. You got black farmers now doing well in South Africa, all over the continent. This myth that only white people can farm is something outdated ideology. You know, the white people want to live in like this in 1950 when black people, the Africans, only had sticks and rudimentary things. But go ahead, brother. Say what's on your mind. Yo, who's that? Is that really Kazor? Or is that just somebody fucking coming here just to troll? Bomani. Bomani.
That's Kazorian. Kazorian, you're live. You're
really Kazorian? No, I don't think it's Kazorian. You got like 2 seconds of get him off the air. That's not Kazorian. Get him off the air. Drop him down, Bomani. Drop him down. I had time for that. That wasn't Kazorian.
Somebody else.
Somebody else using his name. That wasn't Kazor. You know, that wasn't Kazor. That's somebody trying to start.
Yeah, it took the time out to make a little baby noise.
yeah. That's not Kazor.
Give him a few minutes.
You're an idiot. You know?
Somebody.
It's probably that knowledge seeker guy. You know. You know,
brother. I've never seen this one. This is a new one.
What?
You literally fooled me.
What? Because yeah, man, that's what they do. You know, they got trolls. You know, these motherfuckers, these trolls are after me and whatnot. I don't know what they got there. Like I said, everybody thinks it's a joke.
I mean, you're telling me right now. Right now, it is literally just it is 12. It's after 12, and you tell me this person have nothing better to do.
Yeah, they got nothing else better to do. They got no women. They got no nothing. You know. The bottom line is this: when what I say about Dr. African, everybody's hailing her some Pan-African leader, right?
Oh, see, people already sending people after you. See, somebody already is upset from you already, brother.
Yeah, bottom line, I'm saying like it is. After I just played that video, how can anybody defend that? She said, "Oh, all our citizens will benefit and everything." You know, she cared about some crackly ass white people in Zimbabwe.
So let me guess, it's not working out the way she explained it.
Yeah, it's about we're going to lift sanctions. No matter what. And you guys Zimbabweans, right, who are getting rich selling tobacco to China, they don't care. They're thriving with the sanctions on there. So what it is like, she's like, oh, we're going to do the same. Now, after once Zimbabwe realizes they can still sell their stuff to Russia and China and stuff like that, and like that, they don't need the West. They're gonna keep it. Then they're gonna figure take all that money back from the white farmers. Don't give them shit. And then she talk about we're gonna raise the money to pay off the debt. I'll be damned if this lady comes here and talk about we need to raise put our money in the friggin' thing to pay off some goddamn crack ass farmers in Zimbabwe. Is she insane? You know.
Carla, she looking forward to
I'll say
donating, brother.
No ADI group. I'm sorry.
Donate some money.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you guys want to go do that or not, and the bottom line is, why is it that it always come to African Americans? That's my territory. You know.
They got. I got a live one for you. Live on fire.
Despite your disagreement with Dr. Repatriation, should engage in it. But what's the public discourse? You know, I remember when Dynas met with her and whatnot, they asked her about visas and everything like that, like that. And then she talked about African Americans having a city state. No, she was against that. She was like that, but she wants to be in control of it. With a Wakanda thing. She has this attitude that she knows best and she's going to lead us and whatnot. Black people in America have thrived in the most hostile position, and we're the richest, most advanced black people on the freaking planet. What do we need Dr. Arcana for? You know, everything you talk about, you ask her, well, the ADDI, I bet you any amount of money, the only black people probably part of that, if necessary, is probably Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump and a few other people. We just think anything is Pan-Africanism. We just think anything is Pan-African. We don't know what the hell what it's about and everything. Anything with an African, that's another thing I'm getting sick and tired of, right? And I remember a couple of years ago, I love President Jerry Rawlings and everything like that. You know, Ghana, former President Ghana, that was a man. He was a real man, a real black man. I love Jerry Rawlings, right? But the way Negroes went back in the 90s when Nana Rawlings, his wife, was come to Harlem and everything, and all these black people just fawning over her. I'm like, what the hell she do? You know, she's a president of Ghana's wife. Oh yeah, nobody's and rightfully so. There was a lot of Ghanaians in America saying, why is it that these black people in America always fawning over people? We have a lot of problems and issues with Jerry Rawlings that we want to discuss and everything, but we can't even get issues of because black people in America, every time they see somebody, it's like all you have to do is put on an African dashiki and robe and everything, and Negroes will be like, in America, just buck dancing and everything like that. That's a stupid Pan-Africanism I'm sick and tired of. You know, the president of Equatorial Guinea could come here, an outright crook and a murderer. He could come here and Negroes would be like, as a matter of fact, we hosted the Leon Sullivan group a few years ago, was actually in Equatorial Guinea. You know, the Sullivan group, that's supposed to be a respected institution of Pan-Africanism, was in fucking Equatorial Guinea with this friggin' murderous dictator and his son looting the country. We got to stop this fake feel-good Pan-Africanism and start asking some hard questions. If you're getting on an international stage, right? Black America is putting themselves in grave danger, right? Like that. We at least better get something out of it. If we're going to sit there and go against the United States and everything like that, and go into Africa and build and stuff like that, we have to be careful. We have to get something out of it. We're not going to sit here and be like, okay, you guys are fucking up on the continent, right? You guys get in trouble in America, right? You just call it Black America. Oh, man. See, come on, man. Black power, you know, black. And we out there in the streets like fools for you freaking grifters on the continent. That's not Pan-African. That's Pan-African in name only. You know, everything that you do with Africa, just because somebody's in Africa, just because somebody buys land in Africa, just somebody does tours in Africa, don't mean that they really believe in this movement. This movement is about Black power and the Black African revolution. We have not had that revolution yet. The same power structure that governed Black people, that brought about the transatlantic slave trade and everything like that is still in place. There's no Black African infrastructure anywhere on the world or the global stage. We're not connected. So what the hell are we fighting for? I asked the question in the last couple of shows. I said, look, if you're on the African continent, right, and you're doing everything from send wave and stuff like this, or you're doing anything right there, all the data and everything that you're doing on the African continent is outsourced to India. And then it comes back to Africa, you know? There's no data centers on the African continent, right? Between Ghana and Nigeria, right? No company that does any business in Africa should have a help desk or call center outside the continent. That would create millions of jobs right there in the IT fields. If you got young Africans answering calls, doing technical work and stuff like that, you know, and doing programming and coding and stuff like this, that would create millions of jobs overnight. Well, the bottom line is this, you know, I'm not throwing shots at anybody. You know, I'm throwing shots at anybody. You know, I'm just saying, you know, the shoe fits wear it, you know, and I'm just on a different level than a lot of my brothers, my brothers in this movement and everything. I just see things the way they are. And the bottom line is this: I don't like what I see. I don't see any change, any moving of the needle as far as the Pan-African world. I don't. In fact, I see us being more divided, more divisive, and all stuff like that going on because people don't want to respect. Like Malcolm X said in this thing, he never said that Black America didn't matter. He said opposition in America will be strong in America. In other words, Malcolm X had every intention of building Black America from a position of power and strength. And we were trading with Africa, building with Africa and everything. Our communities in America will be thriving right now. That's what Malcolm X was talking about. He never said, you know, you got to basically get, he said, yes, we want to eventually return to Africa triumphantly from a position of power and strength. That's what I believe in. So he never said give up on it. He said we put a lot of effort in America to build America, but we're not going to get that far if we're alone. In other words, he realized Black African Americans are a nation. We're a nation within a nation. And how that nation gets strong, either we're going to have some deal with the white man. The white man's going to do right by us and everything. We just become Americans. Or we're going to, at the time, right, it was just obvious that we need to build with our mother continent. The white man has done everything in the last 60 years to tear Black America and which we'll call it in Africa apart. We see that with 9066. Brzezinski said, stop the Black militant and the Black African from linking together. We got social media and everything. We're still divided. I'm saying, well, look at, yeah, Yuma, thank you. You know, why should Africans build at Liberia instead of South America? Why should Africans build like South America? South America, we're not the majority. South America are indigenous people. You know, and what do we got? What do we got in South America? Now, the Caribbean islands where Black people are the majority. That's one thing. I don't want to build in Mexico. I don't want to build in fucking all these South America, El Salvador, and everything, Peru. What do we got with them? Those countries are more poor than Africa for the most part.
Look at this other comment right here.
Fuck, man, we rock with Elijah Muhammad. Dude, man, stop it, bro. You know, stop it. You gotta delete that comment, bro. Stop it.
That's the mindset of what we're dealing with.
Yeah, so no, in other words, not fucking. This is what I'm talking about.
Only way I can do that is put it in timeout.
Name only, you know. If you look at friggin' Malcolm X, what he just said, what he said was absolutely true. Malcolm had outgrown Elijah Muhammad. You know, he got introduced to the movie, but he had outgrown the philosophy of Elijah Muhammad. He outgrown that. You know, if you study Malcolm X, you know that there was no real. The core of Malcolm X was what Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. There's no one or the other. I can appreciate Elijah Muhammad, right? But what Malcolm X said, like this: when people don't like Malcolm X and everything, is because they really don't like the fact that he was telling what he was trying to tell. He was telling the truth. He said we cannot do this. He was more of a Pan-Africanist, a Black African nationalist. That's what he turned to. He went from the Nation of Islam dogma to an African nationalist, you know, and he recoined the term African American or Afro American. You know, that's the position he was talking about. You know, we weren't just a lost found nation of Negroes in America. He said we're part of a global Black liberation struggle. You know, it wasn't just like people of color. It was like Black people. He said the Black people. He didn't say if all the people of color unite and everything like that, or the Black man, which nation does not include the Black man as the Chinese, Japanese, and everybody else, Arab, and all that. We're all the Black man. You know, whatever that fuck that means. He said Black Africans. That's why we say Black African infrastructure. You know, find consensus, because the reason why we can't find consensus is because one is she's trying to raise money, and also this spirit of Ubuntu, right? It's only Ubuntu when somebody is basically getting all the money and somebody else is doing all the work and following in line. That's Ubuntu. That's fake. You know, the spirit of Ubuntu. Well, now, where's that? Show me any country in Africa where the so-called spirit of Ubuntu exists. No, it's a bunch of greedy people in power, right? They get everything they want. They make sure the youth don't have any power. You got all these young minds on the African continent, right? But they have no hope. Because if you ain't in the right family, the right clan, the right tribe, you ain't getting put on. So miss me with that freaking thing, you know. It would be easier to build a settler colony out of Panama. If you want to go to Panama, go right the hell ahead. You know, there's a lot of Panamanians down there. Go right the heck ahead. Go to Panama. Be happy. You know, but the Panama is not going to be strong until it has a link with the African continent. You know, all these countries and whatnot, you know, like the one chick that was on the other day, you know, that went to Liberia. She's from Trinidad, you know, a follower from Trinidad. When he's Liberian, was born in Trinidad, and they had a link back to the continent. You know, something about being on African soil, you know, the base, that's the base, you know, the base, the connection, the pipeline. You know, without that, you have absolutely nothing. You know, all these people, all these communities out there, whether it's Colombia and Guyana and everything, they're never going to be nothing until we have a global Black African infrastructure pipeline. That means trade, business, data, and logistics flowing across the Black world and throughout the African continent, followed by hard infrastructure and what we call the physical economy. That means shipping, you know, shipping and transport, rail, and stuff like that. We have nothing. All the logistics and everything that the whole entire Black race has comes from other races. Indians supply us with this, you know, Arabs supply us with this. We produce nothing and consume nothing that we produce. And we produce nothing that we consume, you know, except for small scale farming here and there and stuff like that. But we don't have any major manufacturing of the Black world. If the Black world produced what it consumed and consumed what it produced, we have millionaires and millionaires being produced every day. You know, yeah, Black Africa. You know, that's the key. You know, Black Africa, that's the key. You know, and right now the world wants to keep the Black man in the North America isolated from the African continent by any means. You know, like I said, there's some countries that don't like us. We decided to link up with countries that do like us. You know. And that's what it is. We have to build real Pan-Africanism, you know, real Pan-Africanism, you know. Pan-Africanism is not going to be easy, but if we're not gaining anything, if we're not at the table, you know, if we're not in the oil industry, we're not in the mining industry, we're not in the manufacturing sector, we really have no Pan-African. We have nothing to talk about. If the Chinese and everybody else are doing all the building and everything, and we're not in Black America, are not getting the contracts and everything like that, and moving, oh yeah, but you understand that we don't have a government in America. You know, these other countries, Chinese, Indians, other people getting contracts in Africa because they got a government fronting them. You know, the United States government is not going to do that for us. So where's Africa meeting us halfway? So that's just what it is. I said we cannot keep doing Pan-Africanism in name only. You know, we have to have real Pan. Real Pan has to be tangible. It has to be real things, real negotiations, long that. And also, let's be honest with ourselves, right? In order for to do Pan-Africa, the Black people in America do not have a government or nation state to base it out of. The Pan-Africanist movement of any substance. These are governments making decisions. Black America does not have a government. So they're not in a position to to negotiate on the Pan-African. Like I said, it's Pan-African, it's name only. All we are is just cheerleaders, right, and spectators in the Pan-African world. We sit back, oh, Dr. Africana. But we have no power, you know? You know? I don't know what Godstar, man. He just turned against Africa, man. What the hell? What happened to you, bro? Godstar, you got to stay off TikTok, man. Stop listening to these African Negropeans on the continent, man, getting you so upset, you know?
I was in timeout. I mean,
hey, Godstar, take a time.
No foolishness with the comments.
Yeah. I guess so. You know what it is? He must have watched some TikTok video. They're out there. These freaking Negroes talking a bunch of nonsense. So don't let these freaking people throw you off, right? That's why I said the BAO before. That's why I do this. You know I I lost a lot of people to BAO to the ADOS FBA movement because they got tired of all the insults and everything. When you see Africa, they're like, man, fuck Africa. You know, and that's another thing. I lost a lot of people to these other movements. I lost a lot of people to the ADOS FBA. That's why I got to stay strong in this, man. Because like I said, we have to really deliver. You know, and like I said, we're not going to really deliver until we basically really build infrastructure. That's why I'm focused on Liberia first. Once I build that, and then, you know, I have a base of operations to build a Pan-African world movement. Kalika, how much of you is aligned with now? I like Professor Lumumba, but he talks all that impassioned speech, right? But everybody's like Professor Lumumba, but not one person will move one needle to listen to what he has to say. That's a problem. Professor Lumumba makes some powerful speeches. Africa, we don't do this. The reason why is because you haven't asserted yourself as men. The people that's in power in Africa don't care about what P.A.I.N.O Lumumba has to say. You know, we don't understand what he said. He's saying the absolute truth. He speaks the truth. But there's no sense of speaking the truth if nobody's going to friggin' listen to what you have to say. No one's going to move. No government policy. Because they're all about what the Europeans, the Chinese, everything. The African system don't have any long-term plans. We go to the African government and say, what's your 100-year plan? China has a 100-year plan right now. They're making moves now, right? Because they say in 100 years, they got a 100-year projection of where they want to be at. Same thing with the United States. Say, why are they making this move over here? Why? Because this is what's going to happen. Right? They have people figuring this out. The Africans on the receiving end of everything, right? We only go by what's right in front of us, you know. But we're not prepared for black people. We're not prepared for anything. You know, we rely on other races of people to take care of us and make those decisions for us and everything. We're not freaking adults. We're not adults as nations. And that's just the truth. Strategic Afro-American politics, safety strategy, defense, technology, infrastructure, public medical. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But we need a base of operations in several countries to implement it. And it has to be policy. That has to be number one policy. Now, we almost had that in 79 with the OAU conference in Monrovia. We had this thing called the Lagos Plan of Action. That addressed all those problems, you know, how to unify the continent under one currency, one military, everything. But you know how that went, you know, with the coup of 1980 in Liberia. Nothing comes out of talking this stuff in the public. Private talk is, yo, look, bottom line, we're having talks like this. If people want to have private talks, that's fine. But this is a public forum. This is where we have these public discussions. And we cannot sit back there and watch me scared of the white man. I'm not scared of the freaking white man, whatever like that. If we were strong, the Chinese, everybody else have these discussions and everything like that, you know, it's what it is. We always worry about, oh, the white man going to get us. The white man, I don't believe in a white boogeyman, you know, say that for somebody else. ADOS FBA, no history, heritage land. Yeah, you know, Pan-African, yeah. The ADOS FBA personality, yeah. These people at ADOS FBA, like they're so butthurt about what some comments some ignorant Africans say on YouTube and everything. Oh man, I'm gonna cut my leash from Africa. Are you freaking insane? You know, the only chance we have in America, right, is a strong United Africa. Once we basically sever our ties from Africa, we could forget it, you know. You know, African Americans always have a problem building Africa, but other nations will become rich off Africa. African Americans don't have a problem building with Africa. It's just that you got to understand something. You said something key. Other nations. Black America is not a nation. We're not a government. We don't have the diplomatic channels. We allowed ourselves these people take $1.6 trillion from us every year, right? White America will be nothing. If Black America pull all this money out of America, America will collapse. But all our money goes to building the white man's infrastructure up. We're not a government. I can't understand. People understand something. That's why we created the BAO. My humbly created an organization like the BAO because we knew that we're not a government, but we need an organization or social network to build an organization where we act like a government inside of America to link us with Africa. That's what the whole idea was. But people don't want to join the BAO. They don't want to do that stuff like that. They wonder why nothing's getting done. And as I said, Confucius said the philosophy of one century should be common sense in the next, right? All the stuff people talk about now, Dr. Africano, oh, the West is looting us and everything. We talked about that in the last century. We talked about neo-colonialism, white supremacy, and all stuff like that. That was so 20th century, 19th and 20th century. The 21st century should be the global Black African infrastructure and global Black pipeline. That's the 21st century. How do we build that? We can't keep talking about the white man this, the white man that, the Chinese man this and that. Yes, that was so last century. Now we should be the manifestation of everything we knew in the last century should be just common sense now. Now, okay, we know that we've been hearing about this for years, right? Now it's time. What's common sense? The answer. What's the answer to the riddle? Building a global Black African infrastructure and global pipeline. And have that as policy and law, where Black people from the West could build new cities, towns, territories, and everything. We could have a pipeline of money, investments flowing from America to Africa and everything like that, a global Black infrastructure. If we don't have that, then we have absolutely nothing. But I'm not going to sit here in this century still talking about what we always talked about for the last 100 years. Like I said, oh, the white man, this or that. Everybody getting cute on TikTok. Man, the white man, this, the white man. We already know that. I've heard that already. He's gonna keep doing what he's doing. What's the answer to all that? What's the answer? It's a conundrum. I get it. What's the answer to the riddle? The answer to the riddle is like you got Jason Black talking about white supremacy, this, that, white supremacy. Jason is another fake, phony person. What's the answer to the riddle? If you really believe white supremacy is a problem, right? What's the answer to the riddle? Racism is intrinsic in America. Racism is bad. In African diaspora, new state, new republic. That's the answer. If you believe America is never going to change everything, it's time for us to build a new nation. That's the answer. Everybody look in history, right? What was the answer to the friggin' Romans in the British Isles? British nationalism. Everything we see, China, right, came together, right? China came together, fought each other and everything like that, right? Fought each other among subgroups, right? They came together, a common enemy, the Japanese, whatnot. Afterwards, when they formed the Chinese nation, the answer was getting rid of the friggin' British, the U.S., the Chinese, everybody get the fuck out, whatnot, and we're gonna build a nation of the Han race, the Chinese race, whatnot, and China is what it is right now. That was the answer. If you haven't figured out the answer to the problem of racism, white supremacy is an Afrikstan that we say it, then you're just a Pan-Africanist in name only. If you're not moving the needle, like I said, it's not just enough just to go to Africa. That's not enough. Until this global infrastructure is put in place and everything like that, you're not going to be safe in Africa either. Same thing that happened to you in America can happen to you in Africa until Africa's strong and we're strong with Africa. We're strong with our mother continent. Yeah, bottom line is this. China right now, Vietnam, they're building these new smart cities. They're building these technology advanced cities. South Korea, they're building these Pan-Asian cities that are going to overtake America. They already took in Europe. Europe is on its way up. But these new smart cities that they're building in Asia and South Asia and Southeast Asia and everything like that, we don't have a freaking prayer. Because nobody in Africa has ever thought, why don't we build these new cities and everything like that, like a Dubai, to attract people? Dubai built land, the Emirates and everything like that, built them into cities, and they got millions of people go there from Aurora bringing their billions of dollars, and they're benefiting from all the business transactions, everything like that. You know, that has never been proposed in Africa. None. Because the African mind doesn't think like that. Because it's all Pan-African in name only. If we had Pan-African, there'd be like at least 20 or 30 smart cities, which black people from the Western diaspora would be building schools, hospitals, industries, and everything like that, and we'd be globally connected by now. So it's all Pan-Africans in name only. I call them P.A.I.N.Os. Pan-Africans in name only. They want to come here like Dr. Africana and tell us to invest in something, and the African continent is not going anywhere. She can't show you anywhere and anybody plans to build any infrastructure to facilitate black people from America to not just America. You got black people from Trinidad, black people that live in Canada, South America, and everything like that could add to the global thing. The African race do not value human potential. We think the wealth is in mineral. We think minerals and oil is going to make us rich. No, it's human. The concentration of human capital and human beings and human consumption in one place. That's what creates wealth. The more educated people you got in a square mile and everything, the more of those people get together, figure things out. Next thing you know, businesses are popping up and everything. Why? Because they have the environment to thrive. You say, why some cities got so rich and everything? Why do you think Dubai is so rich, right? Why? They created the place and told the world, this is a place you can do banking, you can do this, and people came. That hasn't been done in Africa yet. So this is what we're talking about. It's time to get real. What is real Pan? Real Pan in Africa it has an end game. You know, our position should be better than what we left it. And I don't see we're on the path to that. I'm concerned about African becomes a sovereign, and we forget about the sovereign, and we forget about Africa. Yo, bro, that's not the case, bro. You know, and when we say Afrikstan, right? We're living a different time period. So America didn't forget about us, right? People don't understand something. There were African Americans and diasporas going to Liberia all the way up until 1980. You know, but the Liberians decided to basically put an emphasis on the integrating people from the interior. Why? Because you got to understand something why this happened. One is when the Civil War ended, right? The people that was mostly funding the black people going to Africa stopped doing it because America needed black people to rebuild the South, Reconstruction. And then after Reconstruction, there was another incident that happened, the Exodus of 1878, which my novel was based on, right? Where they said, this ain't going no place. Let's build in Africa. Let's leave, build our own ships and ship our people out of the fuck out of here to go to Liberia, the Congo, and other places, right? And then what happened was around World War I, World War II, you had German U-boats, everything, it was stopped. World War II, right? People understand, so Germany cut off all shipping. When you have a World War I, World War II, there was no shipping. Nobody passed the shipping, everything. So you basically could not do anything, right? After World War II, right? Black people wanted to revisit Garveyism and stuff like this. But yet they had a new plan called integration. America's going to change. Let's be honest with ourselves. Black people started getting jobs. Black people were on TV. Black people were doing rock and roll. So we were seduced into America and we lost interest on a large scale. Then in the 60s, a lot of black people started going to places like Ghana, seeking their roots and stuff like that. But it wasn't any large scale exodus. Nobody was planning for that, you know? And then you had in the 70s, you had the Rumble in the Jungle with Ali. There was another time period black people went to Africa in large numbers. And then in 1977, you had the Festac in Lagos, Nigeria. There was a large number of African Americans. A lot of them came from the Congo. That was in Zaire at the time and went there and stuff like that. And then you had the Reagan era. Black America became patriotic. Well, we're Americans and everything like that, you know. But the idea of Africa was waning in a lot of black people. We just on television and everything like that. We had the Cosby Show. We would just become Americans, right? But now in the 90s, people start revisiting this stuff about Pan-Africanism and stuff like that. But yeah, we were just like the lone voice. I was taught all the stuff I'm saying now, I was saying back in the 90s as a real young man. You know, I said we need to build with Africa. We need to resettle and build an Afrikstan. I coined that word 30 years ago. You know, and basically now people actually listen to it. Back in the days, people laugh. You know, hey, you know, Africa, why not? Yeah, no, you know, they weren't interested. But I kept my small group. We just had our study group and everything. We just kept it. That was back in the early 90s. You know, and I've been studying everything I learned. I said, man, look, this is where the future is. We need to build an Africa. And I never thought that all black people should go, but I said we should be building Africa. You know, we should be settling and building new territories in Africa and help the continent. And we have an open trade. I learned about trade and stuff like that. We need a trading partner. Black America has no trading partner. We have no place to manufacture goods and bring them back to the United States. I said, if we settle and built in Africa, I saw countries like Namibia getting their independence and everything, and I was really excited. You know, I was like, wow, you got all these countries in Africa, and we could build ports. That's because the reason why I thought about that, because I live in a port city, and I see all these ships coming in every day and whatnot, and I never seen anything with an African name on it. Or I said, one day, man, we're gonna see our goods being shipped from here to thing. I just thought about that. Was 30 years ago. You know, and to this day, man, you go down to the ship and thing, I see Patel, I see Singh, Yang, I see all these names when I don't see no Dangote or anything like that being shipped into the United States. You know, as I watch that stuff, I've been doing that stuff for years, watching shipping coming in and whatnot, just wondering where they came from and stuff like that. You know, the global trade, the global supply chain, you know, and our mother continent, our beloved mother continent is not part of the global supply. This mighty continent, this great continent with these great people called Black African Americans, and we're all united. We rule the world, but we're not. Everybody just have their little fiefdom. They have their own little connection with Europe. They get on there, talk about their little dusty country, the dusty thing, and they're sitting in the UK and sitting in everybody's angry and whatnot because they know they failed. You know, Somalia's a failure. You know, Nigeria's a failure, and all these countries and everything, and everybody just angry with each other. Black America going at it with Jamaicans, and Jamaicans going at it with Haitians and everything. And I saw a really ugly debate on TikTok the other day where Somalis and fucking and Nigerians going at it. Oh my God, Nigerians just say you guys ain't shit. You guys can't even govern yourself. You guys can't even fool with government. You guys are blowing each other up every day. We Nigerians rule the continent, you know. And Somali guys like, yeah, you go, what do you got to say? You got because y'all got curly hair. Somali guy, no. I said, what do you got to say? You have nothing. You produce nothing. You don't even have a kingdom you can brag about. You know, I mean, it was just really ugly. So this is what it is. Now, if you don't see the white race going at it because the white race and the Asians are winning. So when two groups of people winning, they're gonna be talking about their wins. Because the black race is losing, all we just did is talk about who's a bigger loser. Like I said, Pan-Africanism in name only. When people start talking about how other people are failing and you ain't shit, this person ain't shit, I'm did this, everybody's repping their little shithole and everything like that, you know, that's a loser. That's losing. That's not Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is how we all could build together, you know, how all we can all pick each other up as a race. All these other races and groups of people, they decided the Indians got to win. And the common enemy of the Indians is the African or the white man. The Chinese see Indians, the white man as the enemy, the Russians the enemy. They definitely see the black man as the enemy. But here's a black man in the African, he sees everybody as his friend. He sees his fellow Africans, he sees African Americans as his enemy. Like I said, Pan-African in name only. So that's what we're dealing with. Fake Pan-Africanism, you know, and basically watered down Pan-Africanism. You know, we don't love ourselves enough to basically challenge other people. Rule number one, I like I said, some countries, I don't expect this to ever happen, right? You know, because like I said, everybody think they got their own thing there. Even though the countries would benefit from Pan-Africanism, some people is like, yo, look, I don't believe in Pan-African. I don't believe in Pan-African, like Afro dumbass, you know? Oh, by the way, Afro dumbass man says he's going to build Gambia into an empire the other day. He said he's going to build Gambia. He said, I don't see, he says he's the only West African that wants Somalis in his country. He said we could do a lot with Somalis. He's thinking about getting with those Somalis with the big ass and the long hair and everything, you know. Oh, Afro dumbass, my king, Afro dumbass. So you got the Afro dumbass empire, you got the Khazarian empire, you got the Judea empire, right? And you know what that really adds up to? Bullshit. Bullshit. You know, you got the Afro dumbass empire, the Khazarian empire, and the Judea empire, and you got all these other people talking about they're going there. You got all these Africans that sit in the West, everything talk about I'm gonna rename my kingdom this empire when that, man. It's insanity. You know, you got broken men. They sit there and they're trying to basically it's about we want to stop Nigerians from sleeping with our women and everything like that. They're women. You don't control your women. You don't control your own country. You control whoever comes to that country can have your women anytime they want to, you know. So everybody basically is trying to anchor down in their little shithole fiefdom, you know, and it's fiefdomism. You know, I have my little fiefdom and everything, and when I go back, I'm going to be the chief mohere, you know, the big kahuna on the block or whatnot, you know, and I don't want no Black Americans coming in my little fiefdom. It's sad what the so-called Pan-African world's turned into. It's a joke. It's Pan-African as a name only. You know, Pan-African name only. Supposed to be on code with self-preservation, independence, ultimate elevation. Yeah. Well, the bottom line is nobody cares about self-preservation, you know. People care about themselves individually. Nobody gives a damn about the collective. You know, that's why the Black race is fucking weak. We're weak. And I always saw, remember, Public Enemy had a song out, Too Black, Too Strong. I used to believe that shit. I don't believe it anymore. I always thought the Black man was strong, but we're really very weak. You know, these little tiny Asians are stronger than us. How's that happen? How the hell little tiny Asians, right? You know, I was watching a thing where the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor and shit. How these little tiny Japanese knocked the big white man upside the head and went to war with him? You know, that and the Black man, tell me our war with the white man. That's the one thing the white man does not want. He does not want. That's why he keeps all this division going on and everything, because he knows when the Black man comes home to Africa, called Ama Malinka. Ama Malinka is a South African. What's the word I'm looking for? Omen. It's like an omen, a South African omen, the believing of Black America descending on Africa and waging a race war, wiping the white man off the continent. You know, that's called Ama Malinka. That was a big during the Garvey time, you know, because where it came from is when the Negro world was in South Africa, they saw Black people with these ships and everything. So they created a philosophy, a cult called Ama Malinka, you know, and they were really, really fanatical. They said Black Americans are coming here with ships and tanks to wipe the white man out of Africa and the Indians and all the race traders out of Africa and stuff like that, you know, called Ama Malinka, you know, and that was the first step to the war of Armageddon. You know, the white man don't want to face Armageddon. That's why he makes sure he sends his race traders in these things to keep us divided and everything like that. Keep Africa thinking that they're going to get some more crumbs and everything like that. Just stay away from Black America. Stay away from them Black America. Stay away from those Akadas and everything like that. You know, oh, yes, massa, yes, bossa. I'm going to stay away from those Akadas over there and everything, you know. They're all race traders, you know. And these people will get up in your face and act like they're Pan-Africanists. You know, they love the white man. They love the white man so much. You know, the white man comes there and freaking this. I already talked about Dr. Arcana. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to talk about any YouTuber. I don't believe any YouTuber is a P.A.I.N.O, you know. I just think they just going by what they know individually. That's when I call somebody a P.A.I.N.O, Pan-African, that's a serious charge. You know, that's a serious thing. I'm not going to freaking name anybody and everything like that, you know, because I don't believe most of these people really believe it's in their heart. They do. They just need guidance. You know, they need guidance. But, you know, what I'm saying, the people that's actually in power and making decisions, and they don't give a goddamn about us or anything else. All they care about is themselves, and they looking big. That's what I mean by a Pan-African name only. You know, how you gonna call us a Pan-Africanist when you're sitting there caping for the fucking Europeans to get their land? I mean, that just burns me up. Why do you care if they get no freaking thing? Well, the white man is worried about Africans waking up. You know, they see Africans keep looking at us. You know, that's what he's worried about. You know, he's not worried about them on the continent. I know that, you know, but he's worried about the fact that, you know, if Africans start thinking like us and everything like that, that's what the problem is. But Africans don't really if they're in power. What I mean in power is this: when you see Africans up there signing these deals, you ever see them up there signing these agreements, Bomani, there's out there. You know, they're putting papers in front of them saying, yo, next thing you know, man, the white man, Chinese man is walking away with everything, you know? That's what I mean by power. You know, we don't have any power to say no and say, no, you can't do this, no, can't that. We have no base of power. They've kept the black man. Why do you think the Berlin Conference was created? People don't realize that, right? Why was it a scramble for Africa? Because they feared the dissemination of black people from America onto the continent. That's what they feared. That's why they had to claim these lands before black people start returning. They just looked at Liberia, say, if that happens on the continent, we're going to lose everything. The Europeans had no use for Africa at the time. They said, but in the meantime, we can't let these black people from the West come to Africa, right, and set up shop. We're never going to get in it. Organizing armies and everything like that. We're going to lose what we had. So that's why they had the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference was basically like that. And also, Africans are still abiding by the territorial boundaries of the Berlin Conference. Why is that? The Berlin Conference was basically to make sure that the black man from the West and everything not get any foothold on the continent. That's what it was designed for. No other reason. You know, they weren't worried about the Chinese. They weren't worried about other Europeans. Who were they worried about? The Berlin Conference. Why was there urgency? They were worried about the black man in America and the West and everything getting a foothold. They predicted somebody like Marcus Garvey coming. They predicted the Garvey movement. They watched what we did in Liberia and stuff like that. And they said, look, we can't let that spread to the continent. Can you imagine if black people from America had got control of the continent with George Washington Williams when you had African American explorers in the Congo? George Washington Williams wanted to build the Congo Free State and whatnot, and King Leopold beat him to it. The bottom line is white man has always been worried about the black man in the West and Africa. That's why he's trying to separate us. You're not African. You're Black American. You know, you have nothing to do with Africa. No, I'm African of African origin. My ancestors came from the Congo and Angola. That's where my bloodline comes from. So you're going to tell me you have the right to go to my ancestral homeland, get rich in the Congo and everything, and I should have nothing just because I'm sitting under a U.S. flag? Are you sick? Are you insane? Well, I'm the only American when you want to deny me my birthright. Suddenly I'm an American now. Suddenly I have no place on the African continent. I have to say, no, I'm going to keep saying what I need to say. I don't give a damn who doesn't like it. Any black person bootlicking and never excommunicated, yeah, it should be more than excommunicated, brother. You know, you know, that's the bottom line. Is this? The Bible says, "Render unto Caesar mine." Black man, what is yours? How can you go sit in Europe for generations while you got Europeans, Chinese, everybody raping your continent? What's yours? What is yours? Unfortunately, we got a lot of Africans that basically crossed over the Atlantic, got into Argentina and Brazil and making their way up to the U.S. border. For what? You got the richest continent in the world. Why are you coming to America? There's something wrong with this whole picture. That's why when people oppose the Afrikstan, they oppose this idea of building that one state, that one powerful state where all the black intelligentsia and the world can converge and build that one super state. You got to be insane. Anything is better than what's going on now. And the countries in Africa could see part of their sovereignty to the Afrikstan, we'd be a friggin' world power. That's what I produce. If this message, this ideology, this gospel of the Afrikstan grows and whatnot, you will see a revolution in our lifetime. Jamaicans and brothers on code. Yeah, Jamaicans have always been on code, bro. Jamaica, they always been. You know, when we was coming up one night, it was always a Jamaican Caribbean brother. You know, the Caribbean people from Caribbean. You are not white, man. You are not a white boy. You are black. You are black. You're African. You're African. They said, man, calm the fuck down. Who's growing up? That your black man is African. You're African. When that, you know, was growing up, Jamaicans were always like that. They were the most conscious. Without the Jamaicans and the Caribbeans, man, we would never had real Pan-Africans in Black America. It was the Caribbeans and everybody that brought that Pan-African fire to the Black community, you know? They're the ones, you know? They got into the Black church. That's what they gravitated towards, that Black power. And we had many people like Akon Fire around, you know? You know, that was a fire that the Jamaicans and Caribbeans and whatnot. They would not let us. So this idea that the Jamaicans and all these other people are against Black America, man, that's a freaking lie from the pit of hell. You grew up in New York. There was black people. We lived in the same neighborhoods. We ate, you know, it's like that. So I don't know how it was outside New York, whatever like that. But New York, whatnot, you know, you go to the barbershop, everything. You see a picture of the Honorable Marcus Garvey on the thing, you know. You had Haitians, Caribbean, West Indians in the Black church doing work in the Black community. And that's what the Pan-African world's all about. You understand that you are Black first. Not no ADOS, when we say African American, we mean anybody that's in America, Black people in America that have that descendant of slave, that have a Western, you know, just live in America, the American experience. Some came from the Deep South, some came from the Caribbean, everything like that, you know. But this separate, I'm from the Aruba, you know. I'm from Haiti. Well, Haitians a little different, you know. Haitians, they do their own thing. But the rest of the Caribbean, I got people, family and everything like that married and everything like that. We talk about Garvey. We talk about Black nationalism. We talk about the 60s and everything, the revolutionaries, everything like that. That's all the topic of every Black African American and African Caribbean when it comes to America. That's something you could build on. I mean, we're one people. You know? So I don't get that junk about, Caribbeans. Like, where the Caribbeans gonna go? It all points to Africa. It all points to being Black. You can't get rid of that Black shit. As long as you Black, you're part of this movement, whether you like it or not. You know. I had Rastas there, but I mean, to be honest, man, Rasta boys, they be on cold with them white girls. Come on now, you know you gotta make that true. The Rastas is down there, man, slaying them white girls coming down to Jamaica, man. They be slaying them white girls. They be on cold with them fat white girls. So you can't say all Rastas, man. I mean, they talk about Emperor Haile Selassie, but they got the white chicks out there just boning them on the beach. Well, that's one girl, white girl that's on TikTok. She said she went down to Jamaica. She said she caught HIV when she went to Jamaica. She probably had it before she went there. She said, I went down there and, you know, I was in the mood and that's what happened.
She was messing with them old white men.
Yeah, she said no. She probably put it like she was messing with bro. She's like one white girl that want to get some fucking dick from white men. But I don't think she got in Jamaica. She probably had it before she went there. And then said she got in Jamaica. You know, I went on Jamaica vacation. Did you try to reach out to the guy you got it from and everything? No. So I went on Jamaica for vacation one night and I came back and I started feeling sick. They said I got HIV. She probably had it before then, you know.
You see, just met some guy and had random sex with someone.
Yeah, that's what these white girls do. They go out to the islands, they have
nothing. Okay.
beach and shit like that, you know. That's what they do. You know, that's what they do. That's been going on for a long time, man. You know, there's movies about that shit. The Organization of Afro-American Unity, Afro people living in the Americas. Yeah, that's what I believe. Black people living in America, we're all catching hell. You know, we're still catching hell from the white man in America and the West. So what the hell is the difference, you know? And now if you don't believe you're catching hell, if you think you're going to get some crumbs and bootlick to the white man, hey, go right ahead to you. That goes for these ADOS people, and that goes for these Negropeans in the UK and these Negropeans in the Caribbean. If you don't want to be part of what we're doing, get the fuck out of our way. But if you believe in a Black African infrastructure, if you believe in an Afrikstan, then come with us. I can't put it to you any other way. Yeah, I know the white little Rastas like white girls. I know that, bro. You know, that's you know, that's what it is.
Yes, Carla. Nobody wants to join you today.
Well, you kicked them all out, man.
I kicked them all out. For real.
You kicked them all out. You say, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
We still have a whole bunch of people on here. But yeah, the clowns are definitely, the clowns, you can keep a clown full nest, keep it away.
Yeah, so bottom line is this. Okay, there was another video I sent you. Hold up. Julius Malema. Now I have nothing, I don't hate Julius Malema, but this is what I'm talking about. We just accept anybody in the Pan-African movement, you know? You know? Do you see that one with Julius Malema? It's only a minute long.
All right, I get it rolling. Yeah, all them people are given many chances, man, many chances, and they kept on crossing the line.
Mm-hmm.
So if those are the only kind of people that we're gonna get, you know,
nobody wants
to talk to ourselves.
Yeah, we can talk to ourselves, man, because I'm getting my point across. You understand what a P.A.I.N.O is? Don't be a P.A.I.N.O, folks. A Pan-African is a name only. In other words, don't talk Pan-Africanism, right? And then talk about LGBTQ. Okay? That's a warning shot to people, you know? You talk Pan-Africanism and whatnot, but you're trying to rep their LGBTQ.
All right, so which one of these videos is it? These videos?
What was Malema?
All right. Now, for some reason, the image is not showing up. All right.
It was a YouTube video, too.
Let me... All right, so that is... All right, it's one above Malcolm. Yes, man. I know you love this kind of stuff, Carla. There you go, man. I know you love it, man. You're excited to share with the folks. All right. There you go. All right. I want to make sure I got the right video up.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's what all right.
That's it.
All right.
This is not just a queer issue. It's a human rights issue. It's a human rights issue. When someone is taking away your right to live freely in the country, when someone tries to take away your right to roam freely as a citizen, when they put crimes that you've not committed onto you and take away every right of privacy, where your neighbor and your relative and your friend can report you in for being a queer, you know, for being a homosexual.
Being queer in Uganda is one of the hardest things somebody can be. Being a Ugandan is one thing, and being an LGBTQI member is also another thing. You literally have to live in fear. You literally can't go out there and feel free to dress however you want to dress, to speak however you want to speak, or walk however you want to walk. You are literally stripped of your rights. So it's one of the hardest things.
How are you going to identify that a person is gay? What scientific method are you going to use that she's lesbian? All you're going to do is to look at a person and out of hatred decide this one is gay, this one is lesbian. It cannot be correct. So we are saying to Museveni, leave the people the way they are. It is not our problem. It is not your problem. It is not a problem. What if Museveni is lesbian or gay himself? What if Museveni is going to discover that much later? Because there are people who discover that even when they are older, that actually this is who I am. uzawuvela umsebenzi kancane kancane uyavela.
And I've received a copy of your memorandum. My people here is not to respond to them, simply to receive. We promise we'll pass your memorandum to the authority responsible for your concern.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say from the outset, right? I have nothing wrong with the so-called LGBTQ queer. I do have someone with a transgender, you know, with the gay, lesbian, whatever like that. I am not a persecutor or a hater of the gay. I don't agree with the lifestyle and everything. I'm not in. At the same time, right? I want to know, how is it that the Pan-African movement is so weak that anybody could come along as a rider and parasitize it and make it us its host and conduit and conductor of their nonsense? You know, this is what I'm talking about. Why does Julius Malema, a Pan-Africanist, as so-called, right? Why did he take on this issue? Pan-Africanism in name only. They know if you can get a radical person like Julius Malema on your side right now, you know, we don't know what the thing. You see those white lady that's in the EFF. You think she's there because she wants economic freedom? No, she's a member of the friggin' that one there. But oh, she's a radical. She's talking about white people need to give back land and everything. She doesn't give a fuck about the white people or the black people. She's there because of her own selfish ends to basically promote the LGBTQ, and it's a payoff. She's a white person. She's using a white privilege and a white position of power, right, to link up with Malema, right, because that's what came out of it, right? I said, who is this lady? You know, she is an agent of the LGBTQ. Just like you got people basically in my organization, BAIO, that we parted ways because they were members of LGBTQ, and I said we can't do that. So the BAIO, my organization, split. If those who want to go on with that stuff like that, they go with the other guy. You know, my thing like that. I have nothing against you or not, but any movement I'll put my name to, it's not that. It's a Pan-African. It's about the black man, black woman, black child, right? Traditional black family and everything. That's what I believe in. Black man, black woman, black child. You know, the alternative lifestyle and everything. I say like this. If let's say people say, well, what in the average say, will LGBTQ be illegal on television? Yes. In my opinion. Distributing literature, yes. Drag shows, yes, it'll be illegal. You know? All this stuff with television program, yes. Now, could people do practice what they want to in the privacy at home? They could do what the hell you want to do, you know. And I think that's fair. You know, fair. What you do in your home is your business. I have nothing to do with that. I don't agree with it, but when you come out in the public belongs to the nation. Your public spaces and everything belongs to the nation. The nation has a right to be partial. Right now, you got people, the president of Disney and everything say there's not enough gay representation in movies. That's why they try to push this stuff, even if they lose money and studios like Marvel and everything. You got to introduce gay characters and everything. The pressure. They had a hockey league. You know, they made everybody put the LGBTQ for Pride Day on hockey. Hockey, a man's sport. They put the rainbow flags on it and everything. Baseball teams, everything. Like they're gonna require the calorie. This is all because of power. And everything. And the only holdout that they don't have is this Pan-African movement. And I'm starting to see people in the Pan-African world warming up to the rainbow people. And I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm never going to accept anybody that decides, you know, say, I don't care how much money they give you, whatever like that, decide, you know something, yeah, gay rights in Africa, yeah, we need to tether the gay right. You're going to wrap a red, black, and green flag with the rainbow. You know, no, don't do it. You will be a P.A.I.N.O, a Pan-Africanist in name only. A real Pan-African sports, black man, black children, and black family. If you are a person that supports the LGBT, you need to lead the Pan-African movement. You need to get out. You know, turn in your Pan-African flag, shut down your channel, shut down your Facebook, shut down all that stuff because we do not want you. That's the way it has to be. Now, if you think they're so important, you think supporting the gays is so important, but you don't support land infrastructure, nationhood, and you don't support Afrikstan, I got to question your sanity. You think the gays are so important right now, Well, what about a African American, African Diaspora Homeland? That's not important to you. But the gays having rights is important, you know? You become a P.A.I.N.O, a Pan-African name only. And we're going to strip you of your Pan-African flags if you do it. We're going to come in there, take your shit off. Taking your flags off, you're stripping you. And you're going to be out there by yourself. What the hell did I do? Like Julius Malema, I'm done with him. I'm done. Because I know they bought him off. I know these gays and whatnot, they look for people who they could buy off, a powerful voice in the black community and whatnot. They bought off Al Sharpton. How do you think Al Sharpton got a whole new look? He was down and out in the 90s and whatnot. The gays got to him and whatnot. He saw the light and whatnot. He saw the money and everything. He's on MSNBC. He's the biggest proponent of everything. He ain't out in the streets no more. He ain't out there with Timothy Ford. He abandoned all that. You know? Well, the gay, I don't know about dividing time. I have no idea. Look, and I'm looking back at it, right? And where I have to disagree with that, right? I'm looking at old episodes of like the Jeffersons and stuff. I never thought about this, right? Back in Jefferson's early 80s. There was an episode where George, right? There was a friend of his from the Navy. And when he came to meet him, he had transitioned into a woman, had sex change. So this stuff has been putting out there for a while. It's just that when Barack Obama came to office, right? Now it's to the mainstream. He brought it like you can't do nothing about it, you know? This stuff has always been debated, sex change, all stuff like that. That's always been around. But now it's to the point where if you are Christian or Muslim, everything, you will be persecuted. If you don't talk about the gender pronouns and all stuff like this, they will put you in jail, arrest you. That's what we're dealing with now. This happened because of social media, and you go on social media, they have the trend thing on what? Trans women are women. And they sit on social media arguing people all day and everything, to the point where young people just like, I guess it's right. And they getting, both Gen Zs are okay with that. Why? The brainwashing they're getting from social media. Now I'm saying, if you want to believe that, right, that's fine. But you have no place in anything I'm building. Now it's like the point where, you know, they're going to come to us like, oh, we have two gay guys that want to go on one of your tours. I'll say, we don't do that. Next thing you know, Bomani and I are going to be hauled to court, and we're going to be in Leavenworth federal prison. That's what we're coming down to.
Don't ask, don't tell.
They tell. Don't ask, don't tell was the best thing, you know? Obama decides to get rid of it. Bill Clinton said, don't ask, don't tell. We won't ask if you don't tell. They couldn't even hold off for that. That wasn't even 2 presidential terms before. That was just discriminate. That was the best thing that ever happened. Don't ask, don't tell was the best thing they ever created. I don't want to know. You don't tell me. You know, so it is what it is. Now they're recruiting Pan-Africanists. Who next is going to fall to the LGBT rainbow stick? You know, I want to know everybody's position on this thing before I go any further with anybody on social media and everything like that. You know, when people ask me, "What do you think about this person?" I want to know what their position is on that. Because it seems like it's being avoided. Nobody wants to basically. Everybody's terrified of this group, the LGBTQ. The whole idea of don't ask, don't tell is, hey, look, what you do in your private life is your fucking business. I don't want to know. I'm not going to ask you. And don't tell me. You know, I don't want to know if you and your boyfriend got it on last night. You know, that's offensive to me. I don't want to know. And you don't want to tell me. As simple as that. That was the best thing. But Marcus Garvey didn't have to deal with this issue.
You got more comments for you, man. Let me know what you want me to do with this guy right here.
Go ahead. Let him on.
This is his other comment.
It's about supporting gays, or rather not playing the Europeans about talking. What do you mean divide and conquer? You know, how we divide? Gays are what, 2% of the population. What are we dividing from? You know, why would they be important to what we're trying to do?
He probably brought it up because you're probably offending his boyfriend.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people in this movement just say, man, God starts saying,
Go X, don't tell.
go after I won't tell, man. You still like a cool brother. Keep it to yourself, bro. You know, divide and conquer. What's divided? What? You know, they say, well, gays are like that. Yeah, they said when they look at it, they say gays could be a. That's what people used to argue with. Carla, what if a gay has an advanced degree in engineering? I have yet to see that shit. Some gay guy have a fucking engineering. He's gonna build it because know why? Because things that require building everything takes manhood. Why do people look at John D. Rockefeller? His thing, right? Why do men go out there and invent things, build things? One is the prize, women. Women are always a prize, right? I'll be honest with yourself, even myself with the BAO. I like the BAO be one bit like that, you know. Not that I'm a sleeper with women, but the fact that you're gonna get admiration from women and your peers and everything like that, that does a lot. That drives a lot of people, you know. You want to be remembered. You know, you care about how your position is in the world. If you don't have that desire to impress women, you know, to protect women, you ain't a man. You know, all men, one thing we live for on this earth, right, is women. Just like if a woman don't have that natural power over you, you ain't a real man. If you, like I said, back in the days, like, oh man, nothing but bitches and whole lot. Guys who treat women like that are secretly gay. Because real men know that, you know, you do care. You get your hair cut, you know, keep yourself groomed and everything and shape and everything. Why? Because at any time, you know, a woman could be by. And when a woman comes by, no matter what, whatever like that, you act a certain way. Women could tell, they could tell that your mood change and your change when you see them. When you walk into a room, there's women there and whatnot, you know, you make sure, how do I look? And everything. That's just a man. That's a real man. Men that don't do that and whatnot, man, you know, don't care about how he looks, don't care how he appears and everything like that. And art like this, like women know every time you meet them, they say, yeah, I do this, I got this going on, and you're trying to impress them. Men who stop trying to impress women and whatnot, that's the depth. That's the reason why we don't build anything. That's why people are too lazy to join a group like the BAIO, because it's about nation building. They have no women they want to impress. They don't have daughters that they say, yeah, this is what we're building for you. The real men of the 19th century Black America built Black America, and they built Liberia. Why? Because they knew they had women to take care of. There was no welfare state. We had to take care of our women. We had to protect our women. If you don't have that in you, then you're not a nation builder. Don't call yourself a Pan-Africanist. Don't call yourself a nationalist. Yeah, gays aren't just 2%. Yeah, they are just 2% of the population. I don't know where you're in. That's about the thing. You've got 2 or 3% of the population is homosexual. That's about it. You would think because of the media that half the population is gay. 2% of the population is gay. You know, that's not an important thing. Just like saying, people. Let me ask you a question. People want to alter the definition of marriage and everything like that. Now, some people say, you know something, let's bring back polygamy. Man want to have more than one wife. No, that's a no-go. Polygamy is absolutely is absolutely off the table. But 2 men marrying is perfectly okay.
That's the problem right there, man. I mean,
because why? Because the gays have money. They have media. They got people like this. Like I said, people underestimate this stuff, you know. And I've lost people.
Look at this right here.
Change the topic. But the bottom line is this, man. See, that's what happens when you start defending gays and whatnot, you know. That's what you talk about gays. Like I said, I can't deal with that. You know, when people decide they want to use their position in Pan-Africanism, support something that's at the core is anti-Pan-African. Pan-African is about the family, you know. What was your assessment about Julius Malema? You know, what did he say about Julius Malema? You know, I don't know if polygamy is legal in Liberia, but people do have more than one wife, you know, whether it's legal or not. But let me ask you a question, right? Here's the thing about the polygamist, right? Let's say one of those wives get the divorce. You know, they could take a third of what you own. Would you be ready to give that up? People don't think about that thing. Look at Tyree talking about right now. You know, child support. You know, he said child support is against the man. You want to have two wives and whatnot. Guess what? When they decide now how is smoking the same thing as being gay? Come on. How's smoking be? What does about smoking have to do with about the topic of gay? I know smoking is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. You know, this is wrong. Smoking cigars is wrong. You know, I do a lot of wrong things. You know, the bottom line, you want to have 3 wives, right? Well, what happens is this: you get divorced. Guess what? Them 3 wives are gonna cut up your shit. You know, shit. You know, it ain't like you think of the feudal times where women were just property and everything. Nowadays, when you get a divorce, they're taking everything. You know, and you gonna end up with nothing. Like, damn, these 3 women like this, and they're gonna have your house and whatnot, bringing their boyfriends over and whatnot. You out there like, what happened to your wife? They all divorced me, and they got your shit. So you gotta think about that, man. Do you really want 3 wives? You know. I said Malema might be afraid this is a tyrannical government which against LGBT will span to other non-gays who are against corrupt policy, believes someone will falsely tag them as gay. First of all, I don't think so. I don't think so. And Museveni, when you gotta understand, right? This has nothing to do with Uganda gays. This has everything to do with foreigners who want to come there and they want to be able to gays. Let me break it down. Let me take a sip of my drink, right? And break this down. Let me have a drink of water and I'll be right back. Okay. Here's the thing. The gay movement, right, is no different than on the left, is no different than the neo-Nazi, white supremacist, global capitalist, racist shit on the right. Same thing. It's all about white privilege and power. Only in the West, where the white man thinks he can do whatever he wants, that he can have anything he wants, whatever desire he wants, whatever, that he thinks it should fly. And he makes everybody goes along with it. He wants to transition into a woman and call himself a woman, he can. If he wants to call himself a woman and win a women's weightlifting competition, he can. If he wants to become a woman, that's the white male privilege. That's what's all rooted in. And the African gays want to get caught up in something that they don't benefit from. The white gay wants to be like, I want to be able to go any place in the world and say I'm gay, whatever like that. You know, I don't care about the customs and whatever like that, and practice who I think I am. If I want to call myself a woman, I want to be able to go to any country and recognize. They would ask this African tribe, how many is a man, woman? They said man and woman. They said, what about you think about some people say that a man, there's no such thing as a woman. They looked at it, they laughed. He said a man's a man, woman. That's the way it's been since man's been on this earth. Every civilization recording, nobody ever questioned that. But now you got these people who want to alter the meaning of gender. They want to say God does not exist. This is bigger than what we're talking about, you know? So therefore, it's not about them being gays being persecuted. It's about them trying to alter the civilization. And if you alter civilization, all these countries and everything will crumble. If the social fabric, if the country is not about, it's already, Africa is being challenged because of the fact that there's a growing middle class in Africa. Women don't have to get married anymore for survival. That's a growing middle. That's progress. Same thing happened in Black America. When women got jobs and everything like that, marriage plummeted. Right now in countries like in, I think it was Myanmar, right? They interviewed these guys. All these guys showed up to get to take a test for the police force, right? And the guy was like, "I want this job so bad." He goes, "Well, why you want the job?" He goes, "That means I'll have a steady paycheck and I can ask the girl of my dreams to marry me. If I don't do this, I gotta go back to my village. I'm nothing." So we have these social things going on in the world, right? Because of modernization, right? Women are like that. So one more thing that's going to complicate the dynamic of human life and everything like that is this gay stuff and everything like that. You know, if people, the world, human civilization gives up on marriage and family and everything like that, we're doomed. So if marriage and all this stuff like that, relationships, heterosexual are being challenged, right? Why do we need one more thing to complicate it? Why do we need people coming here telling us there is no gender? That's what Uganda and these countries are afraid of. You know, I'm natural, man plus women with kids. Yes, thank you. Good, brother. That's a good thing. We don't always agree, but you said the right thing. Now they make it seem like if you agree with man plus women, children, there's something wrong with you. They're persecuting Christians and Muslims and everything. You know, Muslims are fighting against this indoctrination of the LGBT in places like Dearborn, Michigan, and stuff like that. They're saying, "Wait, what's going on here?" And that's what I'm saying. Well, all these Africans and people coming to America is coming to your kid too. They want your kid to be like Dwayne Wade's son when I put a dress. He's leaving Florida because like they hate. Well, I'm like, yeah, you're a freaking weirdo and a freak, Dwayne Wade. You and that evil bitch Gary. You put a freaking transition a boy into a girl. This is madness. This is insanity. And these African countries are looking at this and they're saying, "No, we don't want it." It ain't about. It make it seem like they're using the gays as scapegoat. Nobody's persecuting the gays in Uganda. They don't want that shit in their countries. They want a boy to be a boy. They want girls to be girls. We shouldn't be having this conversation. But we are. It's the same. And now what I'm saying is now the people who call themselves Pan-Africanists are embracing this shit. P.A.I.N.Os. Pan-Africanists in name only. Guys, Baroy said, "God, I understand your position. In the spirit of non-division, wouldn't college support optics shaped by creating synergy with people?" Look, I support Julius Malema and everything, but I'm strongly against this. That's what I'm talking about. People think just because they holler about the white man, holler about racism and everything, and I got some issue with Julius Malema. Do you really think that you look at Zimbabwe? Do you really think? Let me break it down to you like this. Julius Malema is like economic freedom and everything, but he's not talk about you want economic freedom and everything. You have to build infrastructure. The black South Africans have not built infrastructure that the white people have. They basically trying to crowd into what the white man created. They could have built pipelines and industries, everything with the surrounding black country. They didn't do that. The economic freedom means taking from white people what they built. You know, yeah, white people should give up some of that land. But if you're not going to go there and do right by the land and everything, all you're doing is being vindictive. And with that, this is what the problem. This is the result of that, right? You know, economic freedom fighters. But I play the next video from South Africa.
All right, let me get it up. Gotcha.
This is Professor Colin tonight. You know, I could be a lecturer, bro, but I'm giving y'all free lectures. Like Umar Johnson's page, well, he charged what $30 to get in a lecture like this. You ain't gonna get this information with Umar Johnson. I'm giving you for free right here tonight. All I ask you to hit the like button. Somebody send a super chat once in a while and everything to Brother Bomani and everything. Like, we're good.
All right, so what video is that again? Because I'm looking here. I got South Africa, right?
Yeah.
Right, that is.
It says CBS Morning.
Perfect.
Video. That's what we need, a Pan-African university. We don't have that. This is the end result of the economic freedom fighters, whatever.
Since apartheid, and the death toll is now up to at least 72. This comes after former President Jacob Zuma was sent to jail. Deborah Pata is in a suburb of Johannesburg, which has seen some of the most violent disturbances. Deborah, good morning.
Good morning. South Africa is on its knees after days of violence, but so far security forces have been slow to bring the unrest under control. Hordes of looters stormed hundreds of retail stores in South Africa, grabbing anything they could get their hands on. Outnumbered and overwhelmed, police struggled to contain the violence.
Police fire rubber bullets, tear gas, but the looters are undeterred. There's not one shop here that hasn't been attacked and completely ransacked.
Dozens are dead. This man was injured in the mayhem. Nobody stopped to help him. And in one heart-stopping moment, this toddler was rescued from a building set ablaze by rioters. The violence was triggered by the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma for refusing to appear before a commission investigating corruption during his 9-year tenure. His supporters took to the streets, but it has now boiled over into anarchic rage fueled by persistent poverty that's been exacerbated by a deadly third wave of the COVID pandemic. But for the shop owners, victims of that rage, it was all too much.
What have we done?
Over 1,000 arrests have been made, and now the South African military has been deployed to hotspots, but thrown into this mix are armed militias taking the law into their own hands.
If they start shooting, there will be war, and that's the thing that we don't want here in South Africa. South Africa is a peaceful country.
But for 5 straight days, that peace has been shattered in the deadliest violence this country has seen in the more than 27 years since apartheid ended. Of immediate concern now, some food supply chains have been disrupted, an oil refinery has been closed, and the transport of oxygen to fight this pandemic has been hampered.
Boy, that was Deborah Pata reporting from South Africa. I have friends in South Africa who said that you can't believe what you're seeing. Yeah. It's been bubbling there for the last 5 days, and it's just now reaching American media. But they said it's shocking what is happening.
And you obviously saw Deborah was right in the middle of it.
Exactly. It was very, very frightening.
So that's Julius Malema, economic freedom fighter, whatnot. That's the answer. Looting, burning, killing, and everything like that, instead of building. So please don't tell me about Julius Malema. Like I said, the bottom line is this. We listen to Bomani and Kala. We're telling you the real thing. People think there's going to be some easy way out. We didn't get into this mess overnight. It's not going to be overnight like that, but a few slogans, a finger pointing. Why not? The black race does not want to do what it takes to liberate itself. It doesn't. You want to talk about economic freedom on it, but you're not going to. You don't talk about building infrastructure, building industries, and everything. Really reaching out to the diaspora, really reaching out to other parts of Africa, and building stuff up. Stirring people up, right? He stirred people up, right? But yet now he has a platform. And the bottom line is this: they went to him and said, "Hey, look, man, what do you think about the gays and whatnot?" And the bottom line, those are the people who basically was putting them on all the time. The white leftists and the light leftist communists. The communists in South Africa are made up of homosexuals, whoremongers, pornographers, and all these other people that were basically came out of the closet when Mandela was elected. I remember Nelson Mandela attended a drag queen show in South Africa. Drag queen was banned. These South Africans once they said, "Yeah, we're freedom." Man, everybody was free. The Rainbow Nation. What does rainbow mean? It doesn't mean anything. Rainbow means if you're gay, queer, non-gender, and Indian, colored, and black, and everything. It's not an African state. Like South Africa is the furthest thing for an Afrikstan, the furthest thing from a black African state. I know some African Americans go there and everything like that, but please don't ever say South Africa is an Afrikstan. It's a black African state. It's anything but that. You know, so like I said, Pan-Africanism in name only, P.A.I.N.Os. A lot of P.A.I.N.Os love South Africa. They love going to South Africa for some reason, you know. They love going to these countries where everything goes and everything like that, you know. No, what I'm saying is this. This is what I'm talking about, right? If you're getting there saying that the black people, we're going to rise up and take the power back and everything, if that's your whole thing, Julius Malema, his whole thing is kill the Boers, take power back. White people have all the powers. White people don't belong here. White people are the one creating the jobs and the industries and everything. Whites and Indians and everybody else is doing everything else. He's not talking about black economic empowerment. Where's his investors? Where's his business group? How come he not meet with them? All he does is rile people up and everything, and this is a result of it. People start believing this stuff, and then when the time comes, right, they use Jacob Zuma's arrest to it was just an arrest because he didn't show up to court. It wasn't like he was sentenced to prison. They basically start looting. They destroyed Durban and what you call Johannesburg. Come on. You know, enough of the nonsense. Enough of the fake Pan-Africanism. You know, is that Ubuntu, Baruti? You know, Baruti? Is that what you call Ubuntu? People are looting and shooting and everything like that, you know? Destroying even black-owned businesses and everything. South Africa, yeah, it's a Euro state. It's a Euro state, you know? It's not it's a Eurostan. You know, it's a Eurostan. The black people are trying to integrate into a Eurostan in South Africa. Instead of building the Bantu state, they should have kept the Bantu stands that they had and built those up and whatnot, you know? They should have built all the homeland like Botswana, you know, was independent. They negotiated and built a city called Sun City, a resort city. You know, people don't realize that, you know. Botswana didn't want to join South Africa, you know. They wanted to keep their independence. They had their own president and everything, you know, and they end up falling like KwaZulu. And KwaZulu didn't want to join South Africa either. People don't realize that history. I was watching that carefully in the 90s. A lot of these people like, look, we're making our own progress and everything, and we have our own independent state in the South African Union and everything. But Nelson Mandela said, no, we're going to erase all these homelands and everything, you know, and merge into one South Africa. And now we're going to have one country, one rainbow country, which is a disaster. This is a result of Nelson Mandela's rainbow country, rainbow republic. So, yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. And Malema, you know, he sounded good for years when he talked about whites and everything, but bottom line is this, he got to take a stand. You know, where do you see this so-called economic freedom fighter going? Now you got an EFF chapter in Liberia. You got economic freedom fighters in Liberia. You know, the chapters are spreading throughout Africa. What are you going to do? It's all about give me, or someone burn loot. Look, there's a plan. It's called managing expectations. That's the problem with black people in America and Africa. We don't know how to manage expectations. We just think all the money's supposed to pour out of heaven, and when you don't have, we're not, oh man, like this. That's what the problem is. We never created that situation of abundance. The only way you can do that is by building a global black African infrastructure pipeline. You know, we need to connect black majority cities in America with Africa and whatnot, and build trade and build relationships with the continent. That's the only chance we got. I was in shock. A city south there, only white people live in it. Yeah, Orania. Because the white people in Orania, Afrikaners, are just smart. They know South Africa is a powder keg about the blowing time, so they built their own little township and everything, which was smart. You know, you're going to live in Africa. It's like, yo, look, we'll just basically do our own dirty work and everything. Just leave us alone. You know, which was smart. I don't blame them. And the black people in South Africa are going to Orania and another place in Bloemfontein saying, why don't you want blacks here? Why don't you want black here? And they're like, yo, look, we just want to be left alone. Leave us the fuck alone. We just want to live in peace, do our own thing, want to practice our culture. Leave us the fuck alone. We don't want to do all stuff like that, you know? You know? How are they going to say? How are you going to start? Are you stupid? How you going to talk about enslave the Boers? Black people don't have no power to enslave nobody. You know what enslavement is? Enslavement means you take somebody and you don't have no power to enslave the Boers. The Boers in South Africa are heavily armed and everything like that. That would not happen. If there was like any conflict in South Africa, the blacks would lose. And also the Boers are backed up by other militia groups, the West and everybody else and everything. They got a global network of support system. Black people always have this imaginary power, like you got the power to enslave somebody. You're gonna rise up. We're gonna do this to the Boers. Well, you ain't got nothing to do. The same Boers who feed you and shit like that. You got no power. Come on, stop it. I thought you were smarter than this, Garstar. I think Garstar is drunk tonight. I think he's hitting that Hennessy.
And maybe he's smoking some crack or something.
He's smoking a blunt or crack and with his Hennessy and whatnot, make these stupid comments. He knows I'm right. He's in this down collars on when he probably watch
that stuff.
That's about slave the Boers and whatnot. I'm like this. We always have these bombastic shit, but the thing I tell people, why don't we build Black African infrastructure? No, we can't do that. Let's enslave the Boers. Why don't we build Black African infrastructure? Let's start with that. No. Let's enslave the Boers, Let's do all this kind of stupid shit and whatnot, No, let's build industry. Let's build a global pipeline, Let's promote tourism in Africa and stuff like that, investments and everything. No, can't do that. Let's talk about enslaving the Boers, It's like, damn, And Kata Freedom Zulu National Anti-Emir was sparked in Durban Hub. Now, in Kata Freedom Party, I had mixed feelings about them. The Inkatha Freedom Party was mostly funded by the South African government and the board, And the Inkatha Freedom Party, you got the King, Goodwill, whatever his name is, right? He's a bum of South Africa, right? And they're a holdover from the old regime of propping up African kings and everything. Like Swaziland became independent, right? And but the British owned everything in Swaziland and whatnot. And the king is out there with his naked virgin underage girls and whatnot, It's like a freaking fool, He's out there with his like 20 wives and whatnot, all like 14, 15, the breast showing and everything like that. People are like, I want to go to that Africa. I want to go to Africa and whatnot. You want to go and watch a bunch of grown men goggle over fucking little girls. You are a P.A.I.N.O, a Pan-Africanist in name only. You're a Pan-Africanist in name only. Inkatha, and like when we say Zulu nationalism, right? It was not designed for to promote Zulu nationalism at a point of opposing the apartheid regime. It was to promote Zulu nationalism to oppose the Pan-Africanist Congress in the ANC. See, there's a difference. So when people, and also it wasn't Zulu nationalism, Zulu fiefdomism. There's a difference between fiefdomism and nationalism. Everybody knows that if you go to places like Durban and everything like that, you got different types of black people. And also they found out that when they polled people in the Zulu wars, in the KwaZulu-Natal, majority of people that died in there were Zulus, right? But they found out that the more educated Zulu was, the more educated ones supported the Pan-Africanist Congress and the ANC. The uneducated ones, the ones they would put out there with machetes and everything like that, supported Inkatha. That's a Budalazi and all them. Their base was these thugs, Roman thugs that were attacking people and everything like that, and everything like that. And the whites were trucking and Zulu fighters into parts of to stir up things to discredit the ANC. So Inkatha allowed itself to be used by the white power structure. Inkatha didn't serve nobody. Only person Inkatha didn't serve was a white power structure. We have to understand that. We cannot keep having these fake Pan-Africanist conversations. That's what I mean by P.A.I.N.Os, Pan-Africanist in name only. That wasn't Zulu nationalism. That was Zulu insurrectionism and fiefdomism, because all they cared about was their king and all stuff like this. They weren't thinking about how they could benefit from the other parts. In other words, basically, if you were talking about Zulu nationalism, right? What was your trade policy? Look at Zululand right now. They attack black Mozambicans. That's where most of the violence is right now in South Africa and Zululand. They attack people from Zimbabwe, you know. Zulu nationalism, nothing but tribalism. And tribalism is a tool the white man uses to keep conflict and stuff like that going on with black people in Africa. They use tribalism to destroy Liberia. And a lot of people don't know that because they are P.A.I.N.Os. They're Pan-Africans in name only. They think the American Liberians enslaved the natives and everything like that. And these people call themselves Pan-Africans. They can't understand that one group of people was trying to build a modern republic, right? Other people didn't understand what the fuck was going on right now. They took over the country and destroyed it. And they'll go around to call themselves Pan-Africanists. Lord. Drink water because dry throat. So I was only causing you cough. No, it's not a cough, man. I just got a little congestion. But the bottom line is that's what I mean by a Pan-Africanist in name only. You know, we use the term Pan-Africanist, right? And people don't understand. In the end, a Pan-Africanist means black people, we rise. You know, we're making progress. Can we look at South Africa and tell me since 27 years, Nelson Mandela's been in about 28 years, that South Africa is any better? No, it's still poverty and everything. 27 years, you had a chance to bring in industry and educate the people and create a new paradigm and everything. Look at Rwanda. They did it. How come South Africa and the richest country in Africa can't pull the millions of black people in South Africa out of poverty? Because there's no Pan-Africanism. And that's a problem.
Yes, color Genesis, brother. Setting it off. There you go. That's your brother Baruti right there for you.
He says, Maga Suthu Butheleza, creator of no, he didn't create the Encyclopedia Partum. It was there before he inherited it, you know. The Kata Freedom Party was actually before Butheleza, right? He was before Butheleza. It was created with the funding of the apartheid state. You know, it was the third leg of Mandela optic to promote post-apartheid unity. No, it wasn't about unity. The Kata Freedom Party was designed to basically make sure that the Zulu people in South Africa had an alternative to the African National Congress by promoting tribalism, xenophobia, and sectarian fighting among black people. That's the only reason why it was created. You can't show me any use for the Inkatha Freedom Party. Nothing. You know, now some people in the Inkatha Freedom Party had Zulu nationalism, legitimate Zulu nationalism, right? But when they should have saw the writing on the wall, that the bottom line is this. Okay, if you have Zulu nationalism, why are most of the businesses in KwaZulu Afrikaners? Why is it that the farms and everything were this? Why is it that the white farmers were giving Zulus days off to go protest and stuff like that? Why were they owning the farms? Why did they have most of the businesses? They had their own businesses adjacent to the territories called KwaZulu in Durban. The Zulus are just nothing but a workforce for the white in the white sections. Zulus worked in the mines and all stuff like this, doing the hard work and everything, worked on the white man's farms and everything. Can you tell me that was a thing? You know why? Because the people at the top of the Zulu were getting paid off by the government and everything. They didn't have to go out there and do hard work and everything. They used their rank and file to go out there and do all that stuff. The average person never benefits from any of this stuff that they talk about. That's why a lot of Zulus were mad, because people in the ANC wanted a revolution. They wanted a Pan-African state. They wanted black nationalism, real black nationalism. They wanted real black nationalism. The Zulu and Kata party were just in power to line their own pockets. Recently, King Goodwill said he wishes the Boers were back in power. He recently said that. He said, I miss the Boers back in power. Why? Because they were paying him. He didn't have to do nothing.
That's it, because he was paying them. That's it. That's his own.
I want to find that video. I'm gonna find that video. People think I'm lying. I know people in there think Kyle's lying. I'm gonna find the video. That's why I say I'm glad we got a platform because we got the thing.
Yeah, man, you can't make some of this stuff up, man. But people still don't believe you.
I know, yeah.
So proof is always good.
Boers were back. See what comes up. Let's see. Let's see. Can't find it. Hold up. So, where is this?
Now the seekers think he is some kind of well,
King Goodwill. Some of the best. Remember some of the best thing. King Goodwill. King Goodwill.
Now the seeker think he a philosopher. There you go. He got a comment right there for you.
Okay, I wish let me look at it in a second.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, still finding the video. Yeah, people gonna say you can't find a video because the video doesn't exist.
King Zulu, stop killing women, children. I'm gonna get that quote he said. Chat the King Zulu. This is like I said, all this stupid stuff right here. All this stupid stuff, you know. Yeah, I can't find it, but I am gonna find it soon. It's gonna pop up soon.
I can play some other drama for you, man. I'm sure you. Here we go. Let me find something else.
Nap aspirism. I don't know. Nap aspirism. Yeah, like I said, black people are definitely taking a nap, man. You know, everybody. The problem is that people Pan-African is something that makes you feel good online and whatnot. But you know, like I said, you know, if that's all it is and everything like that. But the thing is, if you go propping up people like Dr. Arikana and everything like that, they're gonna get something out of it. You know, what's up, Bobcat? They're gonna get something out of it. And it surely won't be anything to our benefit. Now, I've yet to see I have yet to see the needle move as far as the Pan-African world is concerned. People act like P.A.I.N.O. Lumumba. The guy says a lot of good stuff, but the thing is, you know. Oh, it says okay. Let me see. People don't understand when you put these people in power, put them on a platform and everything. Like Julius Malema, people, Julius Malema, everybody, Phil Scott, he loves himself from Julius Malema, you know. And when they fuck up and whatnot, nobody has anything to say. He's going out there full hard for the LGBTQ. That's a non-issue as far as people who talk about building Africa. What the hell has that got to do with anything? You know. Let's see. Let's see. Apartheid. King Goodwill. And apartheid.
Knowledge seeker, you are no philosopher. Yes. Somebody got a nasty comment about one of your friends.
I wouldn't say he's a traitor, but I just think he don't have enough in the so-called Pan-African world. You know, I don't think he's schooled. You know, whatever's popular. Dr. Arikana, Julius Malema, all these people. We keep giving these people such a platform and everything like that. You know. We keep giving these people a platform like this. They're important. That's the only thing I'm saying. I don't think he's a traitor. I think he's just ill-informed.
Yes, there you go, Kala. We are coming up on the 3-hour mark.
Okay, it says, here it is. Like it says, the King Zulu, the apartheid government respected me. Okay, it's not a video. I don't think. Hello, it's not a video, but it's a thing. We could. I'll give it to you. You could read it. You know.
Yeah, that probably won't be good enough. You know.
I just sent it to you. He said the apartheid government respected me. You know. Let's see if I can find something with a video. You know. Okay, King Zulu praises apartheid. See if there's a video on this. Funny, I can't find a video. It's all like news articles.
King Zulu.
But that's what you got, you know? And that should have been, and people, that should have been like, well, how the hell he say something like that, you know? He appraised part. Why? Because the apartheid government gave him money, you know? And basically, he was promoted into xenophobia. He was saying, oh, there's foreigners and everything. What happened? Well, like that, people start going out killing foreigners. And he said he was misquoted. Why? Because the bottom line is everybody in Africa got to have a scapegoat. You know? He was inciting that stuff like that. Then he retracted it. You know, and these guys talk about great Zulu monarch or not. Man, get out of here. All right, this is. I guess we're supposed to go over there and kiss his. Well, when he was alive, he's dead now. You know, I guess we're supposed to go over there and kiss his feet, Bomani. You know.
Yeah, like some people. Yeah, no, we don't do those kind of things.
Yeah, like I said, there's another thing. Sacred cow. You see an African, he calls himself a king, whatever, like that. You gotta go and kiss his feet when I kiss his crusty feet and everything. It's a nonsense. We don't.
I thought it's bowing down. Or
no, bow.
Is that not enough? You have to kiss the feet also.
Yeah, kiss the ring, kiss the feet. You know, get down and kiss the feet. You haven't earned me kissing your freaking feet. You know?
Philosophers are dreamers.
Yeah, philosophers are dreamers. Yeah. So that's it, folks. Like he said the apartheid regime respected me. You know why? Because you were doing their bidding. You kept your people in the Zululand in line. You know, this is what people understand, man. The white man has not given up on Africa. This is deeper than we think it is. You know, people think, oh yeah, I'm going to look. Bottom line, we're in for a fight. This is not over yet. You know, every country in Africa, the white man has dug in and whatnot, and is going to use every trick it can to undermine what we're doing on the continent. You know, this ain't going anywhere. You know, there's nothing, not a damn thing changed in 500 years. You know, the apartheid
government respected me.
Yeah, he's a fucking clown, you know? And the people, the educated people, the people in Zulu land and KwaZulu got educated, they realized, you know, they realize this is friggin' antiquated, you know? He's a relic. Why do we need these friggin' so-called kings and everything like that, you know? They have a beginning and they have an end. Why can't we put these people out to the pasture and build a prosperity? You want to know what the problem is in KwaZulu? It's people like this, these monarchs and everything like that, you know? And the only reason why they're there is because the governments in South Africa, whether the black government or the white apartheid, they know they can use them to keep the people in line. That's it. You know, you can keep the people in line, you know, keep the people in line, you know, oh yeah, this and the other. The Zulus were aiming all that stuff at black immigrants, you know. But Jules Malema is aiming his stuff at whites and everything. And we like that. Oh, you're talking about whites and everything, right? But yeah, he's with the white left, you know, who basically, he's doing the bidding of the white left. So in other words, basically, you're against the white right because they believe in economics and everything. You want the white left because they want to redistribute wealth and everything. But the thing is, you know, what goes along with that is he's going to win is the white left supports the LGBTQ. So that's a trade-off. Okay. I believe in gays having rights and everything in South Africa, right? So Louis Dusman was like my guy. He supports gay rights and everything, so we're gonna support him. So he's still supporting one arm of white supremacy too, because the LGBTQ and everything like that is nothing but white power and white privilege. You know, that's the thing. Like I said, P.A.I.N.Os, Pan-Africanists in name only. Everybody jumped on the Pan-African bandwagon and whatnot. You know, it's time to freaking start throwing some people off. If you don't believe in the total liberation of the black race as a whole, and you can only do that by a redeemed Africa. Marcus Garvey said that. He said it 100 years ago. He said until Africa is redeemed. Malcolm X said that. He said until Africa's strong and everything like that, you know, we're never going to get any place. You know, until Africa's strong and we got a strong, real relationship with the continent, which we don't have right now, you know, nothing's ever going to change for Black America. You're going to still be getting shot in the streets. You're still going to be mistreated, whatever like that, you know. That's the way it is. The blacks that was in Ukraine. The reason why they treated Africans like that, because Africans have no power. So the Ukrainians like, we can do whatever the fuck we want to you. You know, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, the white left is more diabolical, you know. They're more manipulative because they pretend to be our friends and they're only out for themselves. They're way more diabolical than the right. They're more dangerous. They're way more dangerous than the right. The right, you know what you got. You know, all they care about is military, police, the power structure, you know, and everything like that. You know what the right is all about. You know, keeping everything for themselves and everything. The left, how they get power is by gathering up all their foot soldiers, Negroes, Hispanics, gays, and all these other people. And the bottom line is black people are the base of that power in America. The gays are on top. The gays are the leaders of the fucking left. And the whole reason why, the only thing they tell black people is, we're going to protect you from those evil Republicans, those evil right-wingers. But you ask yourself the question, well, who protects us from you? We're your friends. You know? Well, I don't agree with abortion. I don't agree with gays and everything. I don't believe the country should have open borders. What about me? I support the death penalty, you know? No, you're black. You got to support. No, I happen to believe, I don't believe in abortion. I support the death penalty, you know, for certain crimes. And I don't think everybody should just be able to pour into this country overnight, you know? But where does that leave me? I'm not a right winger, but I believe in those three things. Black people got to give up everything they believe in to be a leftist. You know? And what you believe don't matter. All you need to know is orange man bad, Democrats good. Orange man bad. You gotta get it out. You gotta say orange man bad, Democrats and Biden good. Orange man bad, Democrats and Biden good. That's all you need to know. You're not gonna benefit from any of this stuff. You're not gonna do anything. You need to know just who to vote for every 4 years. If they're gearing black people up now, you got freaking Phil Scott played a video of what's her name, Joy Reid. She's in a house of mine. We gotta get out there because the Republicans are coming for the queers. Then I said, okay, here comes the blacks and black people. They're gonna basically she's saying the Republicans are gonna get in power and put us back in slavery. You know, again. Democrats good, Republicans bad, you know, scaring black people into voting. So that's all. So that's what it is. There's nothing. There's no agenda, anything. And you think you're going to get some reparations from these people? Okay. Why is I don't support? I never said I supported Cummings for president. You know, I never said that, you know.
Wow, brother Kala, you are you're a fortune teller. You told me this was gonna happen.
Yo, bottom line is this. I never said I support thing. I got friends in Wales government. I don't want to put that out there.
That's why I asked you about that video I put out because I don't want to get caught up into anything.
I am not supporting any. I'm like, I stay neutral, right? This is the way I see it in Liberia, right? Ure is a clown, you know. He last time he's a full ass Congo man, right? He was up there with his freaking clown. Now his daughters are fine, man. I ate at his daughter's restaurant, Fusion Zion. That's where we're eating at, man. Beautiful restaurant, real nice food and everything, you know. And she does a lot of good work in the country, right? They want Buckeye and everything like that because they know they can get away with do what they want and whatever. and the bottom line, me personally, if you ever see the Ures in power and blah, blah, that's going to trigger a lot of people in Liberia. Oh, the Congo people, back, you know, we don't need that headache. George Weah, unfortunately, he can't track the sort of investments Liberia need. The only viable candidate that's going to move Liberia, I showed a picture on Facebook with Cummings sitting there with his fucking cognac with a cigar. I said, that's the image Cummings needs to put out there, you know? I said, look at Cummings, a Mac, you know? He's sitting there. I guess the people tell him, man, you got to look more cool and whatnot, you know? So I put that picture up there, him smoking, he's sitting there with a cigar and fucking chilling and everything. Now, Cummings, like I said, it's up to the Liberians what they want, right? But if it was Cummings versus Weah, just Cummings versus Weah, I think Cummings would win. But the problem is you got Boca, right? Who thinks he's like 90 years old. It's his turn to rule. And that's what you have in Africa. People don't care. They can't tell you a vision, everything like that. They just want to rule. And people roll with who they want to roll. They want Boca to win. Some people want Cummings. Some people want Weah. Nobody says what person will be. And the person that's really capable of really building Liberia, because Cummings will be like another Paul Kagame. That's the sort of thing Liberia needs right now. He will put Liberia on a world stage, you know, because he has the international business connections and everything. And he's proven with his years at Coca-Cola that he's a real businessman, educating everything like that. You know, whether he can win, I don't know. That's up to the Liberian people. You know, it's up to them and everything, like I said. But I told them, like I said, this last time I went, you know, and they're sitting there crying to me about how hard it is in the country. I said, look, you guys thought that you could just put anything in power. There was Sirleaf and all these other people, Charles Taylor and everything. There were things that were going on, right, that needed certain types of people, certain type of expertise. Charles Taylor, Sirleaf did that, you know, over the years. You know, they did bring development and stuff like that over the years. You guys thought that you could just bring George Weah in, and it didn't matter who's in Congress and everything. They realize now with this Nathaniel McGill getting under sanctions of the U.S. government and everything like that, that, yeah, not everybody is the same. And you got these CDCans. They said the World Bank and all these other international said they won't even see them. They said these guys come there, they're not educated, they don't know what they're doing, coming here asking for money and development. So a lot of lenders and everything, Liberia's hanging on by a prayer. They won't, a lot of international institutions, businesses will not deal with the way of government. And I think it's unfair to Weah because I really do be trying. But they look at the freaking government and everything like that. See, people, international investors and everything, they watch everything. You may say to yourself in Liberia, well, I'm going to vote for Weah. I don't care what the world says. And be defiant. You want a countryman, an indigenous man and everything like that, but he wasn't qualified to lead. He wasn't qualified to engage the international community. You weren't thinking about that when you voted for him. Now you're sorry. It does make a difference. You know? Yeah, Sirleaf been paid off. She did a lot, you know? She grew the GDP. She did a lot. And a lot of stuff you see Weah taking pictures over, she started. The road projects, everything, that was her. The LEC, everything, that was her. But Weah's trying to take credit for it. And they know that the average Liberian, they count on Liberians being ignorant and not knowing that. You know, he's taking credit for all these developments going on that he didn't start. He didn't start no major development in the country in his thing. So therefore, if you give him another 6 years, that's gonna be 6 years of nothing. And this is only right now. Liberia grew last year by 4%. And that was what Sir Leaf was bringing in. You know, and all he's doing is trying to maintain the momentum that she did. You know, so what you need is somebody to come in there and take it to the next level. Liberia is poised right now with the stability to take it to the next level, but people are still uncertain. You know, they watch social media, right? They look at some of these idiots. We're talking about the Congo people and everything. They got one guy, my boy Sam, telling me on the radio, basically almost like, you know, talk about to the Congo people, we need a final solution, talking on Nazi shit. Even though nobody like that, but the bottom line is that's what they said in Rwanda. Look what happened. People got killed. And so therefore, stuff like that, right, is what keeps people away from Liberia. Liberia has a lot of potential, but they got to let go of these hate mongers and idiots. Like I said, I'm not one of these Pan-Africans that blindly like this. I'm not going to lead my people into no friggin' slaughter. You know, you got 2 million people, but good thing is that we have enough people in Liberia that's down with us on our side and everything, you know? Most people are left in ignorance. They vote out of ignorance and expect to get something. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. How can we talk about Pan-Africanism when the majority of people are freaking ignorant? The majority of black people talking about Pan-Africanism are freaking ignorant, and the majority of Africans talking about development are ignorant. When the majority of people, even the people that got smarts and intelligent like myself, we're alone in the dark. Nobody listens to us. But the people listen to the people that are most popular, tell them the same freaking thing. I said about Dr. Arikana. You know, what is she saying? That's the thing. I would like to know somebody, what is she saying that you don't already fucking know? And they have this ADDI thing they're trying to invest in and all that. We're supposed to put our money in that and believe in that? People are so ignorant. Well, what are you talking about, lady? Have you proven this thing out? Why are you looking to Black America, right, to do your bidding? So like I said, it's no time for ignorance. It's no time to start celebrity worshiping. We're talking about our lives here. And I do believe, look, if Africa falls, right? We see what happened in Durban. That's heartbreaking. CAR, there's unrest all over the continent, you know? If Africa falls to anarchy and chaos, the black race is done. We're finished. We have nothing to leave the next generation. Only because real black men don't want to put their foot down. You know, we're just be playing games. And I'm not for playing games. I want to know what's real. I want to know who's real. You know? Yeah. The Zulu King, the apartheid government respected me. You know, they don't even try to hide it anymore, you know? They don't try to hide the treachery. All that's going on, he's not the only one, you know? There's a lot of Africans who basically wish the Europeans were back in power or think that the white man has the answer to all their prayers and everything. The white man should rule them and all stuff like this. There's a lot of people think like that. They think the white man is good for Africa, right? But Pan-Africanism is just a pie in the sky dream. P.A.I.N.Os, Pan-Africans in name only. When you recognize a P.A.I.N.O, run from them like you would a rattlesnake. They're deadly. I said one of the things about Pan-Africa, we got to get out of this Africa worship. Not everything done in Africa is good. Not everything Africa makes sense. We have to be LARP. What's logical, achievable, reasonable, and practical. When you have
Genesis,
you know, then you basically, we can get someplace. I'm always looking at what's logical and achievable, reasonable, and practical. If it don't sound LARP, I don't do it. You know, everything I do is logical. You know, it's logical that people link up or from the diaspora link up with the African continent and build something new. You know, that's logical. It's achievable. It's reasonable, practical. You know, look at Brother Bomani. You know, he's doing his small part. What if you have like a few thousand people like Bomani? He would change Africa overnight. Just a few thousand people doing what Bomani's doing.
Strengthen numbers, family. Build the numbers.
You know, and have a real plan. You know, so we have to do what we have to do. You know, I'm gonna continue doing what I gotta do. If people want to join us, hey, you more than likely to join us and everything, because we look at things realistically. Look at things realistically. But that's just that whole thing in South Africa. That was just boy. I would say that was the worst unrest in 28 years. The whole country. So now some people say, well, that was because of COVID, but you know, they were just rock. The whole country was rocked by that anarchy, looting and everything, and everybody seemed like it's gone on like it's nothing. You know, talk about our brothers in the Cape Coast. You know. And also, Dr. Africana said something interesting. She said we're paying for the improvements on the land. So in other words, they're paying for the so-called infrastructure, right? Well, didn't Zimbabwe, Rhodesia get loans and stuff like that the state had to pay for initially? You know, capital, whatever like that. So how can they pay for them back billions of dollars, right? When the state had to fork out a lot of that money to build the infrastructure, you know? And also, why isn't it the black people, the brothers and sisters in the Cape, the Hebrew, how come no one's ever said we need to compensate them for the infrastructure they built on there? You know, see how it works? White people will get paid compensation, even though they came there, invaded the country, set up an apartheid and exploited the people and everything. Hebrew brothers built something there for the local people and everything, serving breakfast, serving whatever like that. Get their shit knocked down, no compensation whatsoever. How come Dr. Africana hasn't addressed that? Like she took the time to address the white farmers in South Africa. She said, Kala, all right. But like I said, a Pan-Africanist in name only. You know, Pan-African name only. If you're sitting there telling us the brothers in Ghana did something wrong, whatever like that, you are P.A.I.N.O. You're a Pan-Africanist in name only. So what we got here.
And that's what I'm talking about, brother. So as we can see, it's not too many of us out here. So this movement has been hijacked.
Oh yeah,
by deadly clowns and race traders. So
I lost a lot of people, you know, solid people, man, in the BAIO, man. They want to go off to Africana and all these other people and everything like that. Hey, what can you do? You know, yeah, we got these good. Look, we have the plan.
I mean, you're not talking about building Wakanda. You know what I mean? So
Wakanda, yeah.
Attractive. You know, you seen the movie, right? You know what I mean? They might as well call the movie Wakanda.
Yeah, Wakanda. We're gonna freaking build a city called Wakanda. Okay.
So people are excited. You know, people love comic books.
Like Akon City, right? When we played,
basically, you know, you're selling to people fantasy land, fantasy world.
Yeah, I'm not fantasy. I'm about reality. Reality, but you know, this ain't gonna be no Wakanda. People are like, oh, we're not gonna have no jails, no courts. No, we're gonna have courts. We're gonna have jails. We're gonna have the death chamber. You get out of line and murder somebody in cold blood. We're not. You're gonna see. You know, we're gonna have everything. We have a penal system. We're gonna have everything. You know, everything. We have a state. We need to be broke. We also, if you need to be re-educated, we're gonna send you to the re-education camp. You know, we have something. We're gonna give you trade skills, everything like that to build yourself up. You know, it's gonna be like what Mao did when the Great Leap Forward in China and whatnot. That's what we need. Our people are sick. We need redemption. You know, we need our own land to redeem ourselves. We need, like I said, nation building. I look at all the great nation building, Lee Kuan Yew of China and everything like that. They didn't ask you. They didn't really give a damn what the people want. They knew what the people needed. They knew what was in the best interest of the people. That whatever comes out, that's real democracy. Democracy when a government exists for the benefit of people. Don't mean they got to say so or, oh yeah, we have a democracy and all stuff like this. If you can have democracies, right? You got democracy in Africa, but people got no schools. They got no fucking running water. You know, they have nothing. What's a democracy if you don't benefit, if your standard of living don't improve? So we're going to talk about nation building. We're talking about building from the ground up and everything like that, where before people get rich and whatnot, we have enough money and resources to build the infrastructure and everything to give everybody a basic standard of living. That's all we can guarantee. Now, if you get rich or strike it rich or you come up with an idea or something like that, that's fine for you. But everyone's going to have a basic standard of living to live on. A basic thing, the basics, you know, we guarantee you a basic education, basic healthcare, basic utilities, basic modes of transportation. And we get back to that, right? Start worrying about all these people building mansions and living big and everything. What the hell is like in Nigeria? What's the sense of you have a fucking mansion and whatnot, and you got dirt roads, potholes, and everything surrounding you and whatnot, and you got people living in slums and swimming in filthy water? That's not nation building. Nation building is when everybody got a certain side of living, and you got some rich people, right? But everybody's somewhere in the middle class. That's what I believe in. Brains and resources were built. The tick have rely on money to build. No other creature relies on money, especially that. The bottom line is this: you have to have the mind first. Singapore was a poor state, had no money. They were so poor. Singapore was so poor and so broke. The CIA tried to bribe Lee Kuan Yew and some of the people. And they said, "No, we like that. We're gonna be like, well, we can solve all your problems. Here, take this money." No. But at the same time, African countries, right? CIA comes with money when they give them the keys to the country. That's when you're really a principal and everything like that. So we're going to basically, Singapore is all we have. We're going to build a country for everybody and get everybody on code. That's going to take us a few decades. And everybody sacrifice for the future of their nation. You can only do that when you're committed to what? Nationhood. And people say, well, Kyle, who do you mean on nation? Look, when we talk about the Afrikstan, if you or any black person, I don't care where you're from, you want to join, say, look, that's a good idea. We build an Afrikstan. I don't care if you're from Nigeria, Ghana, Canada, wherever hell, if you're a UK, whatever you are, if you want to join us and build this new society, because all these countries that you see are going to fail. If you want to build that real black African society and everything of high society and education, we got institutions of learning and people could be the best they can and everything. Like that's what we envision. A place where you are really free to pursue your dreams and everything. Then what's the culture? That would be the culture. A culture of nation building. You know, not some redundant backward culture, a culture of unity, a culture of nationhood, you know, something new.
There you go, Carla. Excellent, brother. Excellent. And we are over the 3-hour mark. So let's wrap it up. You have any, I guess that was your final thoughts.
Yeah, my final thoughts.
No one else
debate me about the P.A.I.N.Os, you know, Pan-Africans in name only. And like I said, I'm not calling anybody out what I'm saying, but stop. If you're a Pan-Africanist, right, stop talking with white supremacy talking points. Stop talking tribalism. Stop talking all this foolishness that I'm hearing all the time and everything like that. Get back. Also, a real Pan-Africanist believes in his people. They believe the first law. Let me tell you something, folks. They say, "Well, Colin, what do you mean by look? If a Ghanaian wants to be a Ghanaian, hey, I'm all for that. We can work together. Nigerian wants to be a Nigerian, I can build that. A Liberian wants to be a Liberian, I'm all for that, right? African Americans want to preserve their identity. I'm all for that too, right? Because the first law of nature is survival, is self-preservation. You cannot talk about, you know something, you can't be transculturalist. Suddenly you want to transition into a Yoruba, you want to transition into an Ashanti, you want to transition into a Zulu, everything. No, that's not what you are. The first law of nature is self-preservation. What do you mean self-preservation? Preserving what you are, bettering what you are, but identifying what you are. You're from Black America, African American, that's what you are. That's what you represent. Now, the Pan-African means that we come together on a higher level, that we're all Black Africans and we work together on that level, but from a position of power and strength. Like, I got to respect a Ugandan. I got to respect a Kenyan. I got to respect Angolan. That they got their own issues and everything like that. I'm not going to be dismissive of their identity or their heritage and everything. So the first rule of nature is self-preservation. I expect that. But when your identity gets in the way of this idea of a Black Pan-African world, then that's when I have a problem. When you put your identity above everything only, oh man, I'm just a Zulu, fuck everybody else, whatever. No, that's the problem. You can represent Zulu, that's fine. But recognize that you are part of the Black African world, Black African infrastructure. That's what we're talking about. And every Black person has a role in this. Haitians got a role, Jamaicans got a role. Everybody has to have a role in this. So that's all I want to leave with you guys with tonight.
All right, excellent, brother, excellent. Another great breakdown from Color Genesis family. That was the topic tonight, the Pan-Africanist shuffle. So, unfortunately, it's one of those movements where you have a lot of people hijack it and it becomes just a fake movement to where, you know, that's why you have people out there saying nasty things about Pan-Africanism, because
it's misrepresented.
Perfect explanation. It's completely represented literally. And so fortunately, that's the best we can do, is represent it the proper way and show you an active energy of just what the work is about. And it's up to you to join the party, and we can do it together stronger. So you got both of our information, so reach out, family, so we can do this, and let's you just enjoy this entertainment and listening. We're looking for people who could be active.
And like Malcolm X said, Pan-Africans don't all mean that we all got to go to the continent, but you got to be interconnected and support the Pan-African movement on the continent and recognize this. Well, I'm disappointed in the fact that the people in Ghana didn't rally behind the Hebrew brothers when that shit happened. Like I said, Pan-Africanism in name only. You didn't rally behind those brothers and say, hey, what's going on? Let's meet with Nana Adu or not. We're bringing a lot in here. You're scared of being told to go home. Ghanaians say, fuck y'all, get out. Hey, we'll take our money, take out someplace else. But we're not going to be abused like this. We want answers. You think they would have did that to the Chinese and got away with it? No. So don't call yourself Pan-Africans and whatnot. And then when you put to the test, right, you all cave out and back down. You believe in this, you're going to fight for this. Brothers, there 25 years, 25 years, and they took all their resources, gutted their thing, people out there looting all this stuff, stealing computers and copiers and everything. It was a free-for-all. And you said that was all right. They did the work. They did what you guys are talking about for a decade. We should go to Africa and build something. And then when that happens, you throw them under the bus. Pan-Africanism in name only.
So yes, my brother Kala Genesis, another classic show. Appreciate your energy. Appreciate you breaking it down to the highest level, and presenting to our people the real deal about the real game about what we're building. So hopefully, we get some more people joining the energy and family. We'll also see you in Africa. So we're encouraging you to just go beyond just being spectators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Join the effort, the energy.
Yeah, and we can't be spectators when people speak on our behalf. If Dr. Africana is up there making these bombastic speeches about the Europeans are looting the continent. Well, every last single African that got rich on the continent, that you see rich on the continent, has gotten there by basically facilitating some sort of looting for Chinese or Europeans. Let's be honest with ourselves. There's no industries in Africa. There's no heavy industries. There's no industrialists. So how do people get rich in Africa? By facilitating the looting.
There you
go. So don't tell me that nonsense. Oh yeah, European looting the continent. So what are they going there? Are they hiding in the cover of darkness, sneaking in with railways and taking shit out? Or they off and doing what they got to do and whatnot, making certain people rich. Same thing that happened in slavery. They didn't just go to Africa taking people. They had help, Same mentality exists right now. We have never confronted that mentality of looting and doing what the hell you want to do and everything like that. No, it's got to change. It's got to change. Or we don't have a freaking chance. I don't know what else I got to say. We don't change this and whatnot. Our future generations is not gonna have nothing. And then also a lot of people don't care about the future generation. All they care about is themselves.
Yes, family. The journey continues, man. It's a lot of work to be done. So, unfortunately, we cannot be up with you all night long. We got to get back up and get back to work. This is a working operation. So we appreciate everyone who joined us, and we'll keep in touch and keep you posted as we just share more of our live and all of our documentation as we travel and move around. So yes, so family, let's close out with some beautiful music from Melanie Ganji, and this is Sons of Africa. Yes, gonna be excited. Yes. Shining bright. Tropical music. Forever and ever. Sons of Africa, shining bright. Sons of Africa, forever and ever. Sons of Africa. Oh, sons of Africa. Sons of Africa. Sons of Africa. Sons of Africa.
That's gonna be our theme song.
Sons of Africa.
Liberia.
Remember where the pillars of the pyramid. Sons of Africa. Remember where the ones who navigated the Nile. Sons of Africa. And all the star systems them in the sky. Sons of Africa. Sons of Africa. Shining bright. Sons of Africa. Forever and ever. Sons of Africa. Oh, sons of Africa. Sons of Africa. Sons of Africa. And this the Marcos Mosiah David. Sons of Africa.
It was the year 1957. The African Republic of Ghana regained her independence from colonial forces under the careful leadership of the Honorable Dr. Bomani Nkrumah. Blessed by His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie, Kadamawi, Kadamawi, Kadamawi. Hey, hey!
Return to the roots. Come get your truths and your blessing, blessing. Son, go forward. A message and a lesson. Return to the roots. Come get your truths and your blessing, blessing. United we stand, and we standing strong. From the examples of Ghana, got to be working together. Black star, black generation. Ice, gold and green. Life, color, life, liberation. Black and pink cross. Symbols from creation. It was a sun, go forward. A message and a lesson, lesson. Return to the roots. Come get your truth and your blessing, blessing. Son, go forward. A message and a lesson. Return to the roots. Come get your truth and your blessing, blessing. Return to your roots and get your blessing. Return to your roots and get your blessing, blessing. Return to your roots and get your blessing. Return to your roots and get your blessing. The call and response. Rhythms of djembe and kete. Sounding far and distance. Regenerating vibration. From corner to curb. The million voices are heard. Ahoy, ahoy. Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. It was a sun, go forward. A message and a lesson. Return to the roots. Come get your truth and your blessing, blessing. Son, go forward. A message and a lesson. Return to the roots. Come get your truth and your blessing, blessing. Return to your roots and get your blessing. Return to your roots and get your blessing. Return to the roots and get your blessing. You must return to your roots and get your blessing, blessing. Ahoy, ahoy. Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. Ahoy, ahoy. Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. Stand, go forward. A message and a lesson, lesson. Return to the roots. Come get your truths and your blessing, blessing. Stand,